That time again. Welcome to the stage. Oh yeah. Where energy and creativity collide. Here we go. Let's level up. Make this something to remember. All right.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League week number 5. I am Septilence, joined by Powder, and we are super excited to get in tonight. Some of the series we have coming up could possibly dictate what we see for the rest of the entire season. But Powder, before we get into all of that, how you doing tonight?
Septilence, I'm doing fantastic. As you just described, as we get into this latter half of the regular season, these matches get even more and more important, and it's so fun because all season we've talked about, these teams have a little bit of time, and okay, it's starting to get to be that time. Now it is the time. Week 5,
Truly.
These teams only have a few matches left to try to get themselves in those top 3 seeds. I can't wait to get into it.
I mean, absolutely. 4 weeks ago, we were talking about, oh, hey, it's only week 1. If you lose today, it's truly not the end of the world. But Powder, as we get closer and closer to the end of the season, it is becoming the end of the world for quite a few teams, and we've got quite a few teams coming in tonight where their performance tonight might dictate whether or not we see them later in the season. I'm super eager to be jumping into that, and we've got to get through the professional formalities beforehand. We've got 4 great series for you guys tonight, and I know that I believe there's only 1 team tonight that we've already seen before. I believe the other 7 have not been seen on broadcast. I might be wrong on that though.
Yeah, like you said, some new teams to watch tonight, but first of all, we'll go through the season format. Like we said, 8 weeks of the regular season, we're getting into the late stages where there's a conference play-in, try to get into the conference championships. Before that, though, last chance qualifier, those 2 and 3 seeds will head into that to try to get their way into the 16-team playoff, which all culminates in an in-person grand final LAN event the first weekend of December. And Septilence, we've talked about it before, but the more we get into it, these teams are grinding out for that grand final.
They are grinding out every single week, Powder. We are getting closer and closer. Like you said, those in-person grand finals, December 3rd and 4th. Folks, it is October 3rd today. We are exactly 2 months away from being at that in-person grand finals, and these teams are fighting with everything they've got. Whether they've got player spirit, team spirit, school spirit, they've got to bring all of that here today. Starting off strong in game number 1, University of Cincinnati. They're going up against Northern Kentucky University. Both of those schools are 3-1, folks. That's one of the games we were talking about. Winning tonight matters like it's never mattered before. Second matchup, Western Kentucky University versus Butler University. Butler, the only team I believe we've seen so far this season. Third game, Northeastern University versus James Madison University. That's a 4-0 versus a 3-1. Another series where winning is so unbelievably important. And to close out the night, we've got the Colorado School of Mines versus Colorado College. So we've got kind of an in-state rivalry to close out our evening. Powder, what I do know, even if I don't know these teams super well, what I do know is we are going to have 4 phenomenal series because there is so much to be fought for here tonight.
There certainly is. And a reminder that all of these students are competing for Scholarship Horizon. A lot of money going out to these teams. And of course, Extra Life, our sponsor as well, we couldn't do it without their support. And these teams tonight, like we said, they are fighting their way through the regular season because only the top 3 seeds out of each division make it to at least the last chance qualifier. Number 1 goes straight to the conference championships, but 2 and 3 do go to that last chance qualifier.
And hey, guys, check that out. Wait, where's my finger? Guys, check that out. Big shout out to Duncan. NACE Star League runs on Duncan. We were super excited to see that. We were told there was going to be a little pop-up, and now we see what it looks like for the first time with all of you. So a huge shout out to Duncan as well as Extra Life, excuse me. A big shout out to both of them for making tonight and every other night at NACE Star League possible. Powder, I know we're going to be getting ready to jump into match 1. I'm going to look over here to make sure I don't say any of this wrong. University of Cincinnati. Oh, no, I always forget this part. By God. golly. All right, so folks, if you do not, or if you do not watch Rocket League super often, if you're just here for a friend or maybe a family member, every game of Rocket League is going to be 5 minutes with unlimited overtime until somebody scores. So the game will never end in a tie. Every series we see tonight, all 4 of them, will be best of 5 or first to 3 games or series. Every game will be on the default settings, and the home team will be on the blue side. I always forget about that part. Maybe one of these weeks I'll finally remember that it's there.
Oh, but yeah, heading into today, now we can talk about these 2 teams. University of Cincinnati bringing out Burst, Frick, and the Engineer going up against Northern Kentucky University, Rickles, Hills, and I want to say Pickles was the last one there, but both of these teams 3-1 in their division. And this is the fun part. Both of these teams, in theory, control their own destiny to get at least even the 2nd seed tonight. Yeah. Definitely a shot at the 3rd. But with these teams and their opponents coming up in these later weeks, Cincinnati's got a little bit more of an advantage here tonight. If they can get the win, they have a solid shot at the 2nd seed.
Absolutely. And as I've got to say, you know, looking into this, University of Cincinnati, they're from Ohio. I'm from Ohio, so maybe there's a little bit of bias there, but in reality, like you said, they have really been performing well recently. They're sitting on a 3-1 right now, and while that 1st place seed may be unachievable, 2nd place is absolutely still within their reach.
It certainly is. I mean, for Cincinnati, they technically even have a shot at the 1st seed. They play Oakland University next week.
Oh, you're right!
Sitting up on top at 4-0. So if Cincinnati can get the win tonight and next week, they're in the driver's seat for number 1. Though that's going to be tough. Oakland University is one of the best teams in the country. That's going to be a tough matchup. So for both of these teams, especially for Cincinnati, or excuse me, actually for Northern Kentucky, it's going to be a very tough shot if they want to get that 2 seed.
Absolutely. And I mean, hey, what better way to prove your worth than to prove your value early in game 1? So, folks, the interesting thing about a best of 5 instead of a best of 3 is losing game 1 is notably less important. In a best of 3, if you lose game 1, you've only got 1 game left to survive. You might just get 2-0'd. It can be so fast, but in a best of 5, you have to win or lose 3 complete games, so 15 minutes of game time. You have to come out on top 3 times to walk away victorious. Losing game 1 becomes much more of a learning experience than it does kind of a detriment towards your success. You lose game 1, it's not the position you want to be in, but you still have that opportunity to learn, take what you've learned, and see how well you can execute some strategy changes in games, 2, 3, 4, or 5.
Yeah, you really do have that time, and for these teams tonight, that's going to be hugely important. As we said, this is a big match, 3-1. There's 3 teams tied in this division for 2nd place, including East Tennessee. So it's going to be a tough one, and I did misspeak earlier. It's actually Northern Kentucky that plays Oakland next week. So for Northern Kentucky, they're the ones with the harder road ahead. For them, in my opinion, this is a must-win. You've got to get this win tonight because otherwise, you very likely could wind up with 3 losses on the season, and you might not even be looking at 3rd place.
Yeah, to go from 3-1 to 3-3 is such a terrifying thing, but Powder, I think you've said it best. It can happen so quickly because you're going up against a great team like Cincinnati here this week, and then next week you have to go against Oakland, one of very, very few undefeated teams left here at NACE Star League, and like you mentioned earlier, one of the best teams in the country. And that's not us exaggerating, folks. They are statistically one of the best teams in the country, so it's going to be a tough win, but as we've seen, especially with our series with Northwood, I think 3 weeks ago perhaps, even the greatest teams in the country can get scored on every now and again. So if Northern Kentucky comes out here, winning tonight, I think, is just as important kind of emotionally as it is physically. If you can take down Cincinnati, you're kind of showing yourselves, we can get these wins. We can take down some great teams, and it sends a little bit of a message, right? It kind of points out to Oakland, hey, we won last week, we're looking to win this week as well. Any opportunity like that can be a great one.
It certainly can. So for Northern Kentucky, I mean, even if they can get a win tonight and maybe walk in with some momentum next week against Oakland, maybe there's an upset brewing. But again, it just goes back to the point that for Cincinnati especially, there might even be a little more pressure for them because they know if they get this win tonight against a tough Northern Kentucky roster, not to say anything bad about them, but Cincinnati has a slightly easier schedule ahead. I mean, just going off of wins and losses, Cincinnati has already beaten East Tennessee, and they play Florida Southern, who has lost to East Tennessee. So in theory, Cincinnati is looking at a couple more wins in the next couple of weeks. So if they walk away tonight, a very, very good shot at that 2nd seed. So it's interesting to see because both of these teams have pressure on themselves, but in completely different ways.
Yeah, I mean, it's two completely different narratives, right? We're looking at a situation where they are, I think you said it best, Powder, controlling their own destinies here tonight. It is about tonight's win in games 1 through 5. If you walk away with the majority, you can set the pace of your own future. And as we jump into game 1 here, folks, we're going to see a little bit of action already coming out from NKU, but it's going to be kind of that back and forth game 1 situation, still trying to get their footing. It's like taking the training wheels back off. You're truly in a competitive collegiate match, and you've got to get into that mindset once again. Burst with a phenomenal setup, and Frick comes in quick with that first goal for UC.
And I like the way that Frick slows down as well. Burst gets a good pass out, but he doesn't rush it. He takes his time, sees the defense is in a very uncomfortable position. Top right corner shot finds its way through. Cincinnati's got their perfect start.
Cincinnati has a absolutely phenomenal start to kick things off. That 1 point, though, Powder, we've always talked about it. Such a false sense of security because you are hardly in the lead with only 1 point on the board. Your opponent scores, all of a sudden you're tied up. You'd love to put at least 3 points on the board, but even a second one could be great. The crossbar getting in the way of the engineer. Frick chasing the ball down into that top right corner, looking for a little bit of team action. Going to pass it off to Burst, who takes it in front of their own goal. Luckily enough, the physicality is there to save the day, and UC is not getting scored on quite yet.
An early double commit from Northern Kentucky. It might set up a goal. Good cut, though, from the defense. A little bit uncomfortable from Northern Kentucky to start. Can't get the challenge there to keep the offense on. However, kills will. Quick turn now. Can't get it from Pig. Rickles, aggressive push here. He actually wins it out. That's up more offense for Northern Kentucky. Rotations working out well. Continuing this offensive set. Off the back wall. Soft shot down in the midfield. Offense can't get the shot on in time. Good stand, though, from Cincinnati. They're back the other way, and they finally secure a clear.
UC with just absolutely phenomenal ball control so far, but it seems like when they get close to the goal, that's really when they start to struggle a little bit. They take it coast to coast from one side all the way down and out to the other, but when they get close to that goal, they seem to fumble just a little bit. The team play starts to fall apart. If they can focus up on that, maybe a little bit more team communication to get some defensive players out of the way, UC might be able to dunk pretty aggressively.
Now a good chance here from Pig. It just plays it high off the backboard. Maybe calculated, though. A pinch out from Cincinnati is down but wide. Rickles needs to get around on this quickly. He does have the clear to at least midfield. Kills will secure it all the way down. Not the touch that Burst wants. Challenge from Kentucky isn't successful, but it does give them possession now. As Rickles cannot find it off the corner. These teams starting to go back and forth a little bit, just kind of banging the ball around. Not sure if it's nerves or just an inability to find one another. Pig is here to keep going for Northern Kentucky again.
2:45 on the clock. UC still up by that 1 point. But Powder, we have seen game after game after game won by only a single point. Rickles with a great chase through the midfield with a double commit from UC is going to keep the dream alive. 2:30 on the clock and almost the 1-1 score line, but it is just going to fall that little bit short. That little bit going a long way. Blocked out again for that second time. Talk about unfortunate.
Close call there, and Cincinnati kind of pushing the envelope once again. Back on offense once more as Kills gets it out. Good cutoff from Pig. It will be high. Burst deep into the net. Shot is actually a pass over, but neither of them find it. Now the engineer, powerful clear out off the challenge. Takes one off the field. Frick is now there. It's an open net. Can he get there in time? He can, and Cincinnati's got a 2-0 lead.
What a way to solidify a lead, and with not that much time left on the clock here, Powder, we're deep into the second half, and things are looking a little bit shaky for NKU, but this is a great time to bring up a point I made earlier. It's only game 1. NKU, they're learning a lot. They're noticing double commits from UC. They're noticing the gameplay kind of fall apart when UC gets close to goal. It kind of breaks from team communication and teamwork into someone needs to make a hero player. We're not going to put the ball down. And speaking of hero plays, the engineer takes it all the way down coast to coast, but knocks it just a little too far off that right side. 100 seconds on the clock. Let's see what NKU can do in the rest of game 1.
It's clear out, but right into the hands of the engineer. Successful challenge from Pig. Somebody needs to be there. It's Kills. He doesn't even get a touch. As time starts to continue to tick down for Northern Kentucky, they're finding themselves back on defense again and again. One taken off the field now. Shot is wide. It's a pass, but nobody there. Instead, it's Rickles collecting for Northern Kentucky. Gives it away to Pig. Gets a flick over one. Trying to set that offense back up, but it's just not successful. The Cincinnati defense, too much to handle now. Slow playing it. Rickles will get it clear out. Northern Kentucky's got to get it going.
62 seconds on the clock, and like you said, Powder, Northern Kentucky's got to get it going. Now, we're looking at kind of a silver lining situation. They're looking at 1 goal per about 25 seconds, give or take, so it's not the end of the world. It's absolutely possible, but by golly, is it going to be tough against a defense like UC has brought to the table here tonight. They are fully aware that they are the authors of their own destiny, and they are looking to make sure they walk away victorious. What a knock by the Engineer, but again, it falls just a little high. The crossbar bounces it away, and that third goal, not quite seen from UC yet.
So close from Kentucky multiple times, not able to get it through, but the passes are there. You can see that the idea, at least, is there for Northern Kentucky. They just aren't landing quite yet. Another clear down. This game's starting to look more and more like Cincinnati's going to take it. They got to get it on this last push, and then they still need another over to the side wall. A little bit too much time running off the clock. Shot isn't there. Cincinnati, with a good defensive stand all game 1 long, will get the first victory here of this series, give themselves an advantage.
NKU denying the buzzer beater there, so it's only going to be that 2-0 score line, and definitely one of the lower scoring games we've seen at NACE across all 5 weeks, but a win is a win, whether it's by 1 point or 100 points. University of Cincinnati coming out really strong, but I must admit, Powder, quite a few I don't want to say obvious weaknesses, because I think that's a little too harsh, but they've definitely got a few exploitable gameplay characteristics like I committed to earlier. That double commit from goals is kind of a pattern, one that you really want to be avoiding, especially when you're in a situation as detrimental and as important as this one. But I mean, is there anything else you're seeing from them where you're like, oh, probably change that in game 2, or maybe NKU can start taking advantage of it?
There's not much there, honestly. Cincinnati's had a good game. They've had a few awkward stands defensively where at Northern Kentucky will get close to the net and actually get within inches of it just being just wide. But there's nothing major from Cincinnati, so I like the way that they're playing. If they can continue to shut down Northern Kentucky, the way that they're getting these clears out, they're just refusing any Northern Kentucky offense. So I like the way that they're playing. For Northern Kentucky, I think on their defensive end, they just need to calm down a little bit. There was one open net goal, could have come from a demolition, but either way, both of these teams aren't necessarily playing bad. It's just that Cincinnati's just a little bit better than Northern Kentucky, at least early on.
Absolutely. I think that's such an interesting kind of observation, is we're to the point where even if these teams aren't playing bad, they're both so good that it's difficult to take advantage of. Nobody gets to walk away at, a 9-0, 10-0 scoreline, because these teams truly are very neck and neck. Their scorelines identical, both rocking with that 3-1. 30 seconds already off the clock, and I wonder if this is kind of a testament to how the rest of this week, today is going to go, Powder. Usually, I feel like we're seeing games with a 10-second goal, a 15-second goal, but both UC and NKU really seem to be aiming for kind of the more guaranteed goals rather than the flashy ones.
It really does feel like that. They're going more for the T plays rather than like an air dribble down the field. We haven't even really seen that yet. It's just been a lot of passes, a lot of short passes to one another.
Yeah.
Nothing major quite yet. Northern Kentucky struggling to get back the other way, forced to take it back to their own half. Trying to get this one over burst, wins out the challenge. A little bit low on boost, 2 go for Northern Kentucky. This could come out huge. Gills at least avoids the demolition. Pass off the corner, followed up. Not there in time, but Rickles will be. They'll keep the offense going. But these corner dumps from Northern Kentucky actually maybe working out that time as a not so good 50 comes out. Pig just takes advantage of it. Cincinnati didn't get the clear that they needed.
I mean, what a surprise. Their Pig kind of just appears, just pops up when the time is right, knocks it straight into the left side of goal, and puts NKU on the board with 3:33 on the clock. So, I mean, that is just a great opener. Obviously, a different story than we saw back in game 1, and with as close as their score lines were, I'm not the least bit surprised to see this series as close as it is so far.
Not at all. Challenge there from Kills. A long one out from the Engineer. Rickles will take it up and over. Kind of losing control, though. Successful 50 now from Frick to go up for Northern Kentucky again. This one not as detrimental. They still do get it clear to at least midfield. The bump slowing down the offense, but it doesn't stop. Frick is still up. Still the dribble. Down and in. And Cincinnati gets a tie.
I mean, between games, we talk about slowing it down a little bit, pulling on the reins just a moment, and Frick does just that. I mean, just with relative ease, with a slowness we haven't seen in weeks. Takes it up, puts it right back down, and ties things up 1-1. That was a 30-second goal, so we've got 3:03 left on the clock, and things are looking good for UC, but just as good for NKU right now. We're looking for an opportunity for NKU to tie up the series 1-1 for UC. If they win this game, they might be able to run away with a 3-0.
Northern Kentucky looking a lot better, but that time just got taken apart by the mechanical play. We talked about not seeing the flashy plays, but that time we did from Frick. A banger to get the game tied up. A pig all the way down, left corner put away by the defense. Now Frick taking it upon himself again. Takes the 100, goes straight for the net. Easy enough stop there from Pig. Pass in the midfield from Burst, leaving it down for the Engineer. Cannot connect, but one is bumped. Northern Kentucky trying to break out, can't do it. Shot put away by Rickles. And kills out to the side. No boost to follow it up, but he at least gets it over. No one home for Cincinnati, but he gets there in time. Close calls all around as time starting to tick down. 2 minutes left.
2 minutes remaining. We are at that 1-1 scoreline. And for those wondering, hey, what happens if we run out of time and it's at a 1-1? Well, I got news for you. That's when we go into overtime. And the timer, instead of counting down, counts up. And it will continue to do so until one of these teams scores. Now, we're going to see an overtime right now. I can't promise that, especially with how quickly this game has flipped on its head. Time after time after time. Oh, that would have been such a cool moment. But unfortunately, it gets knocked away into the far right bar. We're down to 103 seconds remaining. Nobody has found that win condition quite yet.
Good play here from Pig to get it around the defense. Looking for the redirect down. No, he actually goes for the bump on the Engineer. Doesn't land it. Aggressive push from Rickles once again. He's been that aggressive third man so far from Kentucky. A couple pushes like that. Now an easy shot from Pig. The defense caught out. Northern Kentucky regains their lead.
I mean, just like that, the waffle iron has been flipped, completely coming through, finding some great value. And like you said earlier, Powder, nobody home for Cincinnati. That goal was a free one for NKU. A little bit of trickster energy coming out from them, but they found a wide open goal and they took it. They're now up 2-1 with 80 seconds remaining. You see, they've got some time to respond, but they have not been able to score consistently, so they're going to need to find that opening once again.
Look at this pass down from Kills, but unfortunately, when you get a pass like that, you're gonna end up in the way. So nothing Northern Kentucky can really do about that other than, you know, get the ball right back in and keep this pressure on. Quickly back out, though. He's got the dribble again. Double commit for the save. Works out for a pinch, but that leaves only one man home, and it's Kills. Not the touch that he wants. Shot into the crossbar. Another follow-up from Frick. All the way into the corner. Time running out, and Cincinnati's giving it their all.
Oh, come on now. This is some high-caliber Rocket League. Block after block from NKU. They are not letting that ball go into goal without putting everything they have on the table. Now the nail in the coffin against UC here in Game 2. But the beauty is they've got half a minute left, 30 seconds left on the clock, and Pig gains ball control, passes it right down into UC's hands here. Frick comes in quick off the corner. Where's the follow-up? No, it's going to fall off to the left again. The Engineer just cannot keep that train moving forward. Instead falls to the left. A great setup, but absolutely zero follow through. Powder. 10 seconds remaining, and it looks like NKU is getting ready to take us to a Game 4.
Since he really needed somebody on that back line, no one was there. That one off the crossbar, and Rickles panicking for the clear. Doesn't get it out. Gives Cincy life again.
Oh, that's
powerfully off the corner, dropping down. And Northern Kentucky secures Game 2.
Northern Kentucky really coming to life in Game 2. We talk about what you can do in Game 1, what you can change up, and it feels like Northern Kentucky really listened in on that. They slowed it way down. They went for the goals they knew they could find, or they created goals when they needed to find them, and they found a great dominance over UC for a majority of Game 2. Now, this has guaranteed us at least a Game 4, but before we get there, we've got to get through Game 3. So now, Powder, the series completely flipped on its head. Last game, we talk about what can Northern Kentucky do a little bit differently. This time, what do you think Cincinnati needs to be working on in Game 3 to bring back that dominance we saw in Game 1?
They didn't seem to really struggle on defense. I think Northern Kentucky just had some great plays, you know, getting the defense to bite when you're along the back wall for a pass. So it's something that Cincinnati is really doing wrong on defense. However, on offense, it felt like they were going for more solo plays. You know, Frick got it in on that air dribble. Other than that, the solo play wasn't really working. I want to see them return to the team play that got them the win in Game 1 because they had a fantastic pass down. No one was in the net from Northern Kentucky, but no one on offense was there for Cincinnati either. Instead, it's cleared out. Northern Kentucky gets the win. So just a little bit to clean up on offense from Cincinnati.
I think I completely agree. In Cincinnati, their offense falls just a little bit short. You know, week after week, I have said what separates a good team from a great team is that team communication, is that team coordination. Are you functioning as kind of a team with 3 members, or are you functioning as a, you know, 3 members as a team? Not the best kind of verbal example, but I think the energy of what I'm trying to say is there. Are they working together as a cohesive unit, or are they instead kind of 3 players who happen to be on the same team, all trying to be the star-studded player?
Yeah, and overall, they seem to be going to that team play, just not as much there in game 2. And it felt like they just struggled a little bit with the offense. So we'll have to see them try to get back into it here in game 3. As they're quickly on to offense, trying to get the clear out is Northern Kentucky, and they do get it. Cincinnati doing anything possible to try to get right back, and they do. Push over one, going for the redirect, straight down. Is that just in? Oh, he gets the double take down burst. I have no idea how he finds this.
Yeah, let's get a bit of a rewatch on this one. Holy cow. Okay, so in off the corner, in just kisses 99% in, and then it just rolls in that extra moment. As I'm sure everybody knows, the ball has to cross the goal line 100% to count, and with a little bit of luck or a little bit of skill, Burst puts that first point down. This is game 1 UC all over again.
And I thought Frick was going to be the one to clean that up. I was looking at this play like, yeah, this will be a Cincy goal. I thought it would be Frick to clean it up, not Burst falling into the ball and getting the double home. What a start from Cincinnati. They're looking to go right back to it as Burst out once again. Northern Kentucky just struggling to build an offense through the first 60 seconds. Taken off the field, though, might give themselves some space. It's Pig up to the sidewall, going straight for the back wall. Frick can't land it, but Burst will. Long clear out again. Northern Kentucky will dump it into that corner once again, but not working out like it did earlier on in the series.
Yeah, not quite the same successes that we saw earlier in the series. Like you said, we're already 1 minute and 12 seconds into this matchup, and things are looking a little bit shakier on, I'd say, both sides. Honestly, NKU struggling to find ball control, and UC struggling to find goals once they have ball control. A lot of Game 1 similarities, like I mentioned a minute ago, where it's just that constant, never-ending back and forth. You know, we're seeing one team, oh, ball control, up the other team, up the other team. It really seems like nobody's been able to establish a dominance in terms of being the offense. We often talk about, you know, oh, the proactive team versus the reactive team, but I think we're watching 2 reactive teams, and I mean, what a reactive goal from Rickles. There was no intention there originally to find that goal. Kills knocks it in. It's a very sloppy knockout, but Rickles, right place, right time, top right corner into bottom goal. It is a 1-1 scoreline all over again.
The vision from Rickles, too. You can see him just barely. He was rotating wide to his right side, makes the cut in, gets the shot. Fantastic sight from him to knock it home and get the game tied. Cincinnati winning out these challenges to get an offense going. Back pass over Burst's head. Now an opportunity from Kills, but he flips right by it. Nothing in the tank. Can't even steal the 100. Gets the challenge off the side. Set it's right into the Burst. Now it's over to Frick as it plays to the ceiling. Burst there first, looking for the midfield, dropping it down. A touch from Frick into the corner. Burst with the boost steal as well, but he can't really get much. The engineer will set it back up, but not for long as Kills over towards the side. Rickles will look to get this out.
Rickles with a bit of a chase down toward the right side of the field, just riding slow and steady toward goal. Oh, that would have been the cleanest goal I've ever seen. But the defense is there. A double commit does leave the goal wide open. The engineer comes around the far corner, able to get in the way once. Are they going to be able to do it twice? Pig maintaining ball control. A great smack toward goal from NKU, with the defense from UC is really coming to life here in the middle of game 3. Kills goes for another goal up wide. Rickles trying to take it in off the corner, but nobody's able to find these follow-throughs, Powder. All the setups are there, but the follow-throughs completely non-existent right now.
The demolition might give them a chance. Ooh, tough there, though. Cincinnati has done a great job. But even if they're losing the challenges, they have their next man in the rotation coming up to get the stop. And finally, they stand tall, get the clear. Frick will look to get around on this. Can't quite do it. Now Pig trying to get this one down. Can, but he loses control. Gets the challenge, but this actually works out in favor of Cincinnati. Another challenge. Straight down off the back wall. Tough read for Rickles. He can't land it, but Pig will. Taking it to the corner, looking to play this one safely. Out in the midfield. One out by Northern Kentucky. And both of these teams, like you said earlier on, Subtilence, a little bit of a struggle to get the ball control. They have these sets of offense, but it doesn't feel like they have solid control until they fake the defense, and Rickle will get the lead.
You know, as a 2008 meme may say, the struggle is real, but let me tell you what, every dog has their day, and Rickles just capitalizing on the weirdest of moments here, Powder. The first goal completely felt accidental. The second, I'm not sure was intentional either, but as a wise man once said, we absolutely take those, and now NKU is up by a single point, 80 seconds left on the clock, and they truly don't have to make much happen. They have to make sure that Cincinnati doesn't make anything happen.
Their defense has played fantastic. Only got one goal the past couple of games now. But still, 65 seconds to get that done. Finish it off to get themselves on match point. This challenge for Cincinnati, but he can't find it. Instead, it's Rickles. playing it softly in the midfield, right into the Engineer's hands. 2v1 down the field, Pig aggressive, getting chased down, sticks through, gets the stop. Burst taking his sweet time, but NKU, fantastic stand once again, but Cincinnati's going to keep it going.
Cincinnati going to keep it going because they do not end until the game is over, until they are forced to play no longer. 37 seconds remain. They're down by a single goal. There's absolutely a world in which they can win this and all of a sudden flip the series on its head for another time. We have seen quite a few kind of dominance turnarounds over and over here today. Frick, I got mixed up there. Frick, a great lineup coming through, and it's not going to be able to find value. Oh, that's a... Wait, whoa. Whoa, okay, production, if it's not too late, clip that. I want to dissect it during the break. It's now going to be 2-1, 13 seconds left on the clock, and Pig has a great lineup. The Engineer comes through trying to find a goal of his own. It is just chaos incarnate here on the field tonight, Powder. In Cincinnati, I'm feeling like they're not going to be able to find this goal when they need it, especially as it hurdles toward their own. Hits the ground just shy of the Engineer, and that is going to be enough to put Northern Kentucky up another game.
And that is heartbreaking if you're Cincinnati as well, because you were given an extra life there at the very end. 20 seconds left, and the offense completely whiffs an open net. It felt like they had a shot to get it there in the final seconds, get the game tied, but come up just short. Now Cincinnati's got to get 2 in a row if they want to control their destiny to the 2 seed.
Oh, there it is. I mean, thank you so much, production. Big shout out to you guys. That replay, it is just utter chaos on the field there, Powder. All 5 of the 6 players near that goal, I don't think the ball touches anybody. I think it is just a complete open whiff off to the side, and like you said, that extra life ripped away. Oh, no pun intended on that one. Complete accident, but that extra life ripped away from Cincinnati in total there. That is a devastating loss, and all of a sudden their backs are against the wall. They're going to have to win this next game, and they can take us all the way to a Game 5, which I'm really starting to forget. It's been 5 weeks, so you'll have to forgive me. I believe that would be our first Game 5.
It would
We've had a Game 4 at this point, but a Game 5, non-existent, and I would love to see Cincinnati kick off Week 5 with a Game 5. There'd be something incredibly poetic in that.
It's only our second Game 4 of the season, and we're looking for that Game 5. Cincinnati needs that Game 5. You know, like we said, they have the easier schedule coming up. If they can get this win tonight, you know, they're obviously not guaranteed their next 2 wins, but going off of wins and losses, and, you know, this team lost to who, and this team lost to them, in theory, they should win the last 2 weeks. This is huge for them. They've got to clutch up now. 2 games to get it going. Otherwise, they'll be dropping down and be looking for the 3 seed potentially.
I don't want to talk about this too much because it's a hypothetical 2 weeks from now. But if NKU wins this, there's a world in which both these teams end up 3-3 in 2 weeks. And we can talk about that more later. But it's so interesting because today is the day they're trying to set a difference, trying to set a dominance. And it could be a situation in which they could find themselves at an even scoreline later on. It wouldn't be 3-3. I just did the math in my head. But the point is they could find a tie-up. And Cincinnati, speaking of tie-ups, is trying to give us that 2-2 tie-up. They've found that first goal in the early game once again. It hasn't always spelled victory for them, though, because they scored first in Game 1, they won Game 1. They scored first in Game 3, they lost Game 3. So that's truly not an omen in either direction. They're going to have to put another point down to really make themselves feel a little bit more comfortable.
Certainly, and for Frick, he's been the man in the air for Cincinnati to this point. 2 air dribble goals now in this series. Been clutch so far, but they gotta keep it going. Plenty of time left. Like you said, they dropped the previous game after going up early. But Northern Kentucky, early on, not really finding their footing on offense yet. Just these long clears out and not setting anything up. Air dribble past 1, Pig's got to race back. It's easy enough, but putting more pressure on themselves. Takes it to the ceiling. Burst meeting him there. Now it's Rickles trying to get it back in, and Northern Kentucky starting to find themselves into the offense a little bit more. Now it's just about setting each other up, looking for the back of the net.
A minute 10 off the clock, and Cincinnati still rocking with that 1 point on the board. Coming in quick burst, finds some great momentum down toward the top left of the field, trying to line up a goal. There's a great setup, but no follow-through as a demolition in center field removed one of Cincinnati's players from the equation. I'm not quite sure which. Rickles down into the Engineer. That could be an open goal, but no. Kills does slow it down just enough to steal that momentum away and prevent that goal here today. Burst finds a great bump in the center field again, going underneath the ball, and it is just chaos left, right, and center so far. Rickles trying to find another shot toward goal. Oh, goes over the Engineer. Not an open goal, though. Double defense commit from UC. Keeps them at that 1-0 lead.
It's been excellent play here from both teams up to this point. You know, Northern Kentucky, that goal was really just a great play from Frick. So nothing really going wrong for either of these teams yet. right now, Cincinnati just winning these challenges to keep the offense on. This time, Northern Kentucky just handing possession away and giving all the space in the world to Frick. He can dump it into the corner. He can get a follow-up. He can get the pass down, but Burst can't get the shot on. It's put away by Rickles, still looking for more offense. Rickles with the whiff, double commit, and it results in their demise. It's a 2-0 lead for Cincinnati.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that was, wow, hold on. I'm just going to watch this again. Just threaded a needle there. Both, like you said, the double commit, they both go left, the ball goes right and directly into goal. You see they're up 2-0. We said they needed to fight hard here in Game 4 to force that Game 5, and by golly, Powder, they're getting ready to do just that. They're up, but they have not guaranteed themselves that win yet. We've still got half of Game 4 left.
But they are still finding the offense. Ooh, Demolition might open things up, but instead it's the Engineer, a successful challenge, and it's these 50s that are working out in favor of Cincinnati. It's allowing them to keep the offense and keep the pressure on, and another one there into the hands of the Engineer one more time, looking for the back wall. Kills can't find it, and the Engineer will find the back of the net. 3-0 Cincinnati.
3-0 Cincinnati. By golly, this is the most dominant we have seen anybody so far, really, coming in hot. They lose 2 games in a row, backs against the wall. It was a fight or flight moment, and they are flightless birds. They are coming in strong. This is going to be UC up 3-0. There are still 130 seconds left on the clock here, Powder. There's absolutely a world where NKU can try to come back, but right now, Cincinnati not even giving them time to think about it.
Now, this is really the first time that Northern Kentucky has found themselves with an offensive set, and it doesn't even last that long. They get it out to midfield, a little bit of a cutoff from one another, still works out in favor of offense for Northern Kentucky. With challenge over 2, is that on? No, and Burst will clean it up, get it away. Rickles back in, he's out of boost, needs to rotate back. Kills will keep it in, but both of his teammates are rotating. He just has to waste time here. He does it perfectly. Pig is there off the back wall. Kills coming in. The miss from Cincinnati, but a miss from Northern Kentucky as well. They're forced to go back to the drawing board.
Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! Oh my goodness, the camera angle. I did not realize how close we were to the goal. It just completely, no defense, no dominance, just in, clean as a whistle. Nobody there to get in the way. Cincinnati are up 4-0 right now. There's 80 seconds left. We're looking at 1 goal per 20 seconds from NKU. If they want to just tie things up, then they'd have to force an overtime and win there to dominate out in this 4th game. But Powder, oh man, I'm not going to say it. I don't want to jinx anything, but I'm getting excited.
It's certainly looking like it. Northern Kentucky has struggled on offense up to this point, and it's all been because of Cincinnati's ability to get the challenges when needed to keep offense on themselves. This is really only like the 2nd time now that Northern Kentucky has set up an offense, and they need to get something quickly. A 4-goal comeback is almost impossible in Rocket League, but definitely not impossible. But the more and more this clock ticks down and Northern Kentucky struggles to find the back of the net, it's looking more and more like Cincinnati might bring this one back and send us to Game 5.
Oh man, Game 5, Week 5, I mean, just beautiful. I'm really hoping that's happening. There was such a poetic statement there in a situation like that with only 30 seconds left here, Powder. Like you said, it's already difficult to come back from a 4-0 devastation, but in reality, it's not going to be happening here tonight. 20 seconds left, 1 goal per 5 seconds, and UC have secured their victory here in Game 4. It is going to come down to the next game. All the marbles on the table. We've got 2 teams at a 3-1 series score. We've got 2 teams at a 2-2 series score. This is amazing. I'm so unbelievably excited to see who is going to really break out in that moment, because that is where you have to leave it all on the table. You have to go in, you've got to give not 110, not 120, at least 150%. Every call has to be perfect. Every play has to be on goal, because I'll be honest, Powder, we have seen a lot of close goals. And if you've got to think, 1% differential, 1 inch to the left, 1 inch to the right, 1 bump in a way. In every single game we've seen could have been a different story. That cannot happen here in Game 5 for one of these teams, so they're going to walk away with a loss.
Yeah, these teams a lot to focus on in this next minute as they take their time and get ready to head into Game 5. Northern Kentucky, I mean, you can see right here how much they're putting up a defensive fight, and eventually it just crumbles, and that was really the name of Game 4. Northern Kentucky, under so much pressure, they're bound to crumble. It felt like Cincinnati woke up after a rough Game 3 and sent everything they got. They gave that 150% in Game 4, but they need to keep it going because Northern Kentucky, after they dropped Game 1, turned things around, got a very solid Game 2 win. Cincinnati, their job is not over yet. Like we said, they need to win 2 in a row, and it all comes down to this.
The gloves are coming off. This is going to be good old-fashioned fisticuffs here from both sides because I truly cannot kind of narrate this point enough. Every game we've seen has been dictated, I mean, except for the last one perhaps, has been dictated by the smallest of error, the smallest of change, the smallest of adaptation. But right now, it can't be small. You've got to go big or you're going to go home with a loss. And folks, the first Game 5 of the series, this is the first Game 5 of the season, brought to you by Extra Life. Please go check out what they do. They are an amazing organization. And we are getting ready to kick things off here in Game 5. The Engineer going to take it up high, Burst trying to catch it out, just absolutely beams it down toward the goal of NKU, rolls up and off the wall, directed back into that center field, and Pig is the one find the ball control immediately after an open goal, and not a free one. A little bit of luck on their side, turns into a little bit of skill from Burst, keeping it at that 0-0, but NKU, they are on the offensive like a Cobra waiting to strike, and they have finally found their target.
And it's a nice sight to see after that rough Game 4 from Northern Kentucky offensively. Defensively, though, a little shaky. That's a little bit dangerous if your kills to give that almost into the hands of Cincinnati. Oh, Rickles last man back, but he beats out the first man from Cincinnati. The Engineer, a whiff there, opening things up for Northern Kentucky, going for the bump, but Brick sticks right through it. Off the corner now. Pig will try to kill it into the corner. Not a lot happening just yet, but it's up into the air. Favorable for Cincinnati. Can't get the double because Rickles is there in time. Dribbling this one up, taking it to the corner. 60 seconds having gone by, and both of these teams have had multiple opportunities.
Multiple opportunities down the drain in the worst way, Powder, but Pig is going to squander that one. A great defensive play from UC as well. It's going to be 3:49 on the clock. We are hanging out at those goose eggs still, and another one. No! There it is. The Engineer needs to change his name to the Puppet Master because he is pulling the strings here in Game 5, putting that first point down on the board. Cincinnati, they're up 1-0, but there is so much time for NKU to respond.
It's so much time to respond, like you said, but that defense has just been suspect for the last couple of games. When you're on the corner like that, you need to find that either towards the left side or to a teammate. He gives it right out into the midfield, into the hands of Cincinnati. They dish it off to a teammate, easy goal. Now a midfield pass, a miss there on the back line. Rickles will clean it up, but Northern Kentucky just struggling on defense to this point. Another clear into the hands of Cincinnati. That is open. Pig will get there in time. He'll dish it to the side. Perfect pass to Kills. Powerfully down. Another powerful clear out. These teams giving it their all, banging it back and forth. And Northern Kentucky, again, just a little bit awkward and giving the Bearcats more life.
Bearcats need this life here if they want to win this. 2 minutes off the clock, 3 minutes left on it, because that's how math works. And now Cincinnati, they are still up by that one. The falsest sense of security a team can ever have is being up by 1 point in Rocket League, because all NKU has to do is find a single point, and we're tied up. That loss ripped away from you in the blink of an eye. Or sorry, that tie. No, oh my goodness, that lead is what I'm trying to say. That lead ripped away from you in the blink of an eye. 2:40 on the clock, and you see they are fighting. They want this win like they want their next breath.
Cincinnati, you can also see the communication there. Maybe not that time. They mess up on the back line, and Pig will get it tied at halftime.
Oh, that scream was so genuine. There was so much going on. It was like, yes, no, yes, no, yes, no. Just a complete chaotic back and forth. And what a time to do it, Powder. The exact halftime being kicked off right now. 2:30 on the clock. Both teams 1 point on the board. Folks, you cannot ask. You could not make a better series than this on purpose. We are tied up. Game 5, 1-1 on the board. And this win for either of these teams can dictate the rest of their entire seasons. It comes down to the next 2 minutes and 10 seconds.
And you know these players are feeling it too. You know they have that pressure on themselves, and it could be a reason we're starting to see a few more mistakes come out. Powerful shot stopped by the defense. And Cincinnati been stuck on their own half for a little bit now. A bump will get it clear out. Net is open. Shot is on. Defense gets theirs in time, but it is a double commit. Kills will still beat out the first man. push up now from Cincinnati. Frick slowing it down. Engineer there first. Pig to follow into the corner, keeping it close. The smart play here as he gets the clear out. Try to get something going for Northern Kentucky. Not for long, though.
100 seconds, 1-1 on the board. 2 game wins for both teams. I was hoping we'd get to a point in Game 5 where somebody could really start to walk away with a dominance, but all 6 of these players are so unbelievably talented that nobody's getting a free win here today. This is the 150% I was looking for. This isn't going to be a 5-0 or a 3-0. This is going to be a 1-1, possibly into overtime right now, with how strong these defenses have been. We're down to 70 seconds remaining. Nobody has gotten even close to scoring in quite a while. We see MKU try to ride it up the wall, close pinch into goal, and still can't find even that. An open goal blocked away by Frick. Another set back into center field. Where's the follow through? There's the follow through, and there is a just as strong defense in return. 55 seconds remain.
Panic setting in for both of these teams. Cincinnati, we haven't seen them double commit in a while. Demolition somewhere. I thought it was on the back line. Instead it was kills getting taken off. But both of these teams starting to fall victim to the double commit bug. And you know it's the nerves coming in. Both of these teams want this win so bad. Oh. As you said, Sepulens could be huge for the rest of their season. As it's cleared out now, easily into the hands of Pig, but straight down, not where he wants it to go. Frick with control. Gets a flick, can't beat out Rickles. Instead, it's Rickles to the midfield. No one there except for a Cincinnati player. Pig forced to race back. Kills will cut him off. It's a long clear out now as Pig will follow it up to the corner. This time continuing to tick down. 15 seconds. And Northern Kentucky looking to get it done in regulation. Instead, it's Frick. The clear out. Nobody waiting from Cincinnati. Steals the corner boost. The clear out into the midfield. Oh no, last man
on now!
Shot, top right corner. Cincinnati with the lead late.
Oh my. Folks, it's not often somebody can leave me speechless, but let me tell you what. 3 seconds left on the clock, and UC sings what is essentially their buzzer-beating, series-winning victory. Unless there's a goal coming through from NKU right here, right now. It's live, it's in the air, it's possible to find that goal if they're lucky. But time is not on their side in a Game 5 chaos. I thought we were a shoo-in for an overtime, but instead, UC sneaks out a victory in the blink of an eye.
That is heartbreaking if you're Northern Kentucky. You had it tied up. All you had to do was just avoid the panic. We talked about that for the last couple minutes because you could see it. Both teams double committing, both teams having these awkward, almost nervous plays that we hadn't seen earlier on, and you know it's the nerves starting to set in with a match this big. And unfortunately, an over-aggressive play here. We're gonna see it again. Pushing up his kills. He can't go for that. His teammate isn't back yet. Heartbreaking again in Northern Kentucky. Very likely a rough end. Not a rough end of their season, but their last matches aren't going to treat them nicely.
Yeah, I mean, not a rough end of their season, but a rough end of their series for sure. 3 seconds away from an overtime reset, and that really could have been the saving grace they needed. But unfortunately, hindsight is 2020, and they're going to have a lot to look forward to in their upcoming week against Oakland, one of the best teams in the country. Now, I will say, and I'm not trying to be patronizing towards our losing team here today, but this is definitely one of those series where you're thinking, even if we lost, there is a lot to learn from that VOD, because there is no better way to learn than to watch your gameplay and to get 5 collegiate, true competitive matches in a row to go home and study and focus on is really going to be a great send for that team.
It really will be, and that's, if anything, Northern Kentucky can walk away with that. They played fantastic in both teams. It wasn't even just Northern Kentucky. We mentioned how both teams were struggling there late. Absolutely. With the nerves and the panic starting to set in. So for Northern Kentucky, like you said, just got to go back next practice, go over the VOD. It's the perfect one to go over. Like you said, 5 games, evenly matched gameplay, and you know, there are plenty of mistakes on both teams that they can look over, and both teams can walk away and improve from this series.
Without a doubt. Now, I believe we're going to get the chance to talk to, I think it was First in just a moment here. I'm sure they're going to get the interview set up, but I'm really excited because, and I say this before the interview every week, as commentators and as viewers, we can only gather so much, right? We can only share so much of what we know or so much of what you guys at home know, but to hear from people in the game is always personally my favorite part, because there's so much going on, not necessarily behind the scenes as we're watching it all, but so much in terms of communication and, you know, was a goal on purpose or on accident, or to hear how quickly these teams can really improve. The only people that are going to know that is them. So I'm always very excited to hear from these players. And, you know, I'm definitely impressed. Shout out Cincinnati, because Ohio, right? I don't even live in Ohio anymore, but born and raised, I can't help myself. I got to be a little bit proud for bringing another win home for Ohio.
and it was a great match. And like you said, I'm excited to get to talk to them as well, because this is the match where you have so many questions you want to ask, but we only get the opportunity to ask a few. And with a close one like this, I'm just excited to hear how their match how they were feeling after the third game when they go down 2-1, and how they're feeling towards the rest of the season, because these players, they have a lot on their mind, and we're ready to hear from them.
Absolutely. I believe it is Burst with us for the interview. Let's see if I was right, and I was. Burst, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you guys perfectly fine.
Fantastic. So the first question is, I've got to ask, walking away from that series, or I guess right at the end of Game 5, we're sitting at 10 seconds left on the clock. We are looking at a 1-1 scoreline, and I believe you were the one to put the game-winning goal away. So kind of, was that the team really coming to life? Was that a hero play moment from you? Kind of what did comms sound like in that moment?
We were obviously super hyped, we bounced back, going down 2-1, our heads were down, we came back, won Game 4, and then obviously winning with 3 seconds left, it feels so good, so there's not much more to say.
Absolutely.
And it's important that you brought up going down after Game 3 as well. That was going to be my first question, because yeah, it was rough there for the first couple of games. You go down 2-1 in the series, and then you have an insane turnaround. You go 4-0 in Game 4 before winning Game 5. So what was it like between Games 3 and 4? Because clearly there was a lot that changed.
There was a lot of miscommunications, misplays in between the 2 games that we lost. I think it was 2 and 3. So we just hunkered down. We realized, hey, if we make the least amount of mistakes and we capitalize on the mistakes they make, we'll win the game 100%. So that's what we try to do. And like I said, Game 5, they made a mistake. They passed it mid, and the third man was too slow. So capitalized on it, and yeah, we came away with the dub. So
yeah, cleaned up a lot of mistakes there. And how are you guys feeling towards the rest of your season? Septilence and I talked a lot in the series about how this match was hugely important for both of you guys. And for you guys especially, you have the, in theory, easier schedule for the rest of the season. You're now controlling your destiny through to the 2 seed. How are you guys feeling?
We feel really good. I don't know if you guys have looked, but we took the number 1 seed to Game 5 OT again, just like this series. So we were a little bit bummed out when we lost to Oakland, but no, it feels great. We got all of our really difficult games out of the way, the series, and so yeah, we paved our way to hopefully the number 2 seed if we can pull out the rest of the weeks. But I don't want to speak too soon, so upsets can happen. So.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. I mean, hey, this was technically an upset in its own right? Got you down. You guys are about to lose backs against the wall. You rip it apart. You win it in overtime, or overtime. Yeah. Game 5, a phenomenal series, regardless. But first, before we let you go, just a very simple question: is there anybody you would like to just give a shout out or a thank you to while you're with us?
Shout out UC. UC baby. I also want to shout out my family. They're watching. Love you guys. Love my teammates, Frick, Joel, or the engineer. You guys are crazy people. So glad I can team with you guys, and yeah, go UC.
Absolutely. Well, hey, Burst, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you for giving us. I had goosebumps nearly that whole time. What a phenomenal series, man! A huge congratulations on the win tonight.
Yeah. Cool. Thank you so much for hosting, guys.
Of course, thank you. And with that, folks, you guys probably know the drill by now. We're going to get ready to throw it to a break for just a couple of minutes. We're going to get our second series coming up. Let me make sure I say it correctly. Western Kentucky. So we're going from Northern Kentucky to Western Kentucky, and they will be going up against Butler University, a team we have seen on stream before. Use this time, get up, get a snack, get water, do whatever, but make sure you are back here in time for Series 2 here tonight in Star League. We'll see you right back here in just a couple of minutes. Well, howdily doodly, everybody, and welcome back to NACE Star League week number 5, series number 2. I am still Septilance, and that is Powder. We are excited because this one, almost just as important as the last series.
Yeah, you know, it's weird because these teams, you know, you see their records and you see Butler at 2-3, and you're like, well, how can this one be big? Well, let me tell you, because this is a very interesting division, East 4. Right now, we've got Siena Heights and Kansas sitting up at top, undefeated. And so for these teams, this could be huge as they're sitting now in the middle with 2 undefeated teams. And a reminder, after this, we still got Northeastern and multiple more teams coming up after that. But our schedule for the remainder of the week, Rocket League on Monday nights, but followed up by Call of Duty and Valorant on Wednesdays. And after that, you tune in Thursday, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Friday, CSGO. But, you know, we're missing a day on there, Septilance. We're missing a Tuesday. Do you know what's happening next week? Because I think I have an idea.
We're missing a Tuesday in Powder. Even though I'm casting Rocket League for NACE, I'm still so excited because it has been years in the making. Starting, I believe, next week, hopefully we're correct on this, that Overwatch 2 will be filling that slot because the game comes out literally in like less than 12 or like 15 hours. I can't do math. If you don't know that by now, I don't know what to tell you. Comes out 3 p.m. tomorrow, so we're super excited to bring that to the NACE family. It's going to be a great addition to the weekly schedule. And speaking of great additions, one of these teams is going to add themselves further into the season. Now, like you said, Powder, it's going to be tough, right? It's definitely a hill to climb for the both of them. Butler, in particular, has had a rougher season. They are in the negative in terms of win-loss ratio, but this is a team that I have seen do some pretty wild things, and that's why I'm pretty confident with my prediction. Usually, I'm a man of statistics, where I see, you know, the team with the higher win ratio. I'm like, all right, that's the team that's probably going to win, but I've got faith in Butler. I always have, and I always will, and I think they're going to be able to clutch this one out if they play their cards right.
It's going to be a tough one. You know, obviously Western Kentucky sitting up a little bit higher in the standings, and for Butler as well, only a couple matches left on the season, including this one, because they are sitting with a bye week as well. So for Butler, they really need to get this if they want any sort of shot at that 3 seed. And for Western Kentucky, there is a lot more pressure on them. They are currently tied for 3rd in their division, and they play the best team in their division next week. They play Siena Heights, sitting at 5-0. Like you said, one of those last few remaining undefeated teams in NACE. So Western Kentucky, you do not want to suddenly drop to 3-4 after the next couple of weeks. You want to get this win tonight and head into next week with some confidence and a little bit of a buffer to face that amazing team.
A little bit of a buffer can go a very long way. And like you said, going up against a behemoth next week, one of very, very few undefeated teams. Maybe they'll be the first to put a dent in that armor, but nobody's been successful yet, and that's always a scary, scary thing to consider. So, you know, you've got to wonder, going into this week, is it about winning? Is it about winning in a dominant fashion to send a message? Is it about playing to learn, playing to improve, watch your own gameplay, and decide, you know, what do we need to be bringing to the table different next week? What is going to be exploited by our opponents moving forward? And I think this is going to be, I mean, there's only one way to learn, and that is to do.
Yeah, and for Western Kentucky, they got to do that now. Like we said, facing a tough opponent next week, certainly have a good opportunity here against Butler. You know, we both think that they can pull off the upset with that little less pressure that they have on themselves. But for Western Kentucky, again, huge. They need to get this as they head into their final weeks. Otherwise, they might be out of that 3 seed. They have Michigan Tech right on their backs, also 3-2 with a slightly easier schedule ahead. So again, Western Kentucky, they really need to get this one tonight.
And on the side of Western Kentucky, we've got Avery, Pat, and Rand Squirrel. And on the side of Butler, 3 players we've actually seen before, way back, and I want to say week 1 or 2. It has been a little while. That is Kai, Munch, and Morales coming in from Butler. Oh, thank you so much. It's going to be Kai, Munch, and Morales coming out from Butler. Now it's going to be an immediate aggression. Munch takes it high, smacks it low, and oh, tell me that's in! Come on now! Butler coming out the gate with a dominant goal. Munch single-handedly, or I guess four-wheeledly, knocking that ball into goal.
Well, if you needed a banger start for Butler to try to get this upset, that's the start you want. 6 seconds in, off the kickoff, they find themselves into the back of the net. However, they do give it into the hands of Western Kentucky off their own kickoff. Joe now with 100 boost past the midfield. Morales will be there first. Clear out. Will follow it up himself. Maybe looking for a second early on. Pass over. Left side shot from Kai. What a start from Butler.
Butler, I mean, this is I said one thing, it's about sending a message, but when I said that, I was talking about Kentucky. I was completely on the wrong side of this. Butler, they are coming out swinging right now, Powder, because winning in a dominant fashion as early as game one can really harm the mental. And this game often, and this is kind of a controversial statement, but this game often can be more about mental than it is about the physical.
Oh, it certainly is, Rocket League. Majority of it mentality, and especially when you get off on a hot start like this. A third one in from Butler. Kai's got 2.
I'm flabbergasted. I'm bamboozled. I'm third thing here. I mean, this is just an insane opening from Butler. I mean, I knew they were a good team, but this goes beyond good. This is dominant. This is great.
It's a perfect start so far. 30 seconds in, 3 on the board, excuse me.
You're predicting the future.
Butler. Predicting the future. You know, maybe Kai's got a hat trick in mind here. Looking for the pass midfield, won't find it. Instead it's Pat, but he gives it into the hands of Butler once more. Pass in the midfield, one taken off, and Avery, all he can do is get a long clear down. Not the touch Butler wants. It will be just wide, and Butler will hold them scoreless.
I gotta jump. I gotta reel it a little bit. I'm a little jumpy after that last series. I'm yelling at everything right now. Butler, they are still up 3-0, only a minute off the clock. They have found an insanely dominant start to kick things off, and now as they continue to move through, we're seeing just ball control Butler, ball control Butler. It feels like WKU is stuck on the back foot. It feels like they really haven't been able to establish their own dominance moving out of this series.
Trying to see Western Kentucky build up an offense, but it's not happening. Clutch demolition late will slow down Butler for now. We're still only 90 seconds haven't gone by, still 3-0. I mean, plenty of time for Western Kentucky to get this comeback, but it does not look like it's going to happen with the way that things are going so far. Munch now, he can't find it there. Pat racing up, shot on,
come on now.
And in, uses the post to his advantage. He gets one on the board for West Kentucky.
Somebody give this dude a pat on the back, you know what I'm saying? Finally puts West Kentucky back on the board. There's still 3 minutes left here, Powder. They're down by only 2 goals. There is such a large opportunity to find some great successes in the rest of this game and the rest of the series. Just because Butler found 3 points never guaranteed them the win. If West Kentucky can bring out that same level of speed and aggression that we saw already, I mean, it's just a great way to reestablish a dominance, maybe snatch away that game 1 victory, and flip this whole series on its head.
Oh, the pass up to Joe. Joe can't land it. That could have been it from Western Kentucky to get themselves back in it. Couldn't quite land it that time. Another opportunity to be found, beaten out by Butler once more. Everybody taken off the field now. Morales won't be able to follow this into the hands of Munch. And Joe will be the last man back. Demolitions all over the field. The physicality from both teams right now. A lot of aggression, and we're only at halftime.
Only at halftime, 3-1 on the board, and half the game 4 points were scored, so one can only assume we're going to see just as many here in the second half. As we know, Rocket League, never a game to follow the statistics, never a game to follow the expectations, and Butler, they find a great clear down toward their own goal. Not exactly the situation you want to be in, but instead it's going to be Butler still finding ball control, very shaky. Munch versus Avery here, and it looks like Pat is going to be the one to try and steal it away, but Kai, out of nowhere, Lightning McQueen, speed demon immediately. 2 minutes left on the clock, and nobody has been able to keep this ball in their possession for more than 3 seconds right now.
Something notable is that Butler's been shut down on offense for the past 2 minutes now. Actually, almost coming up on 3 minutes. It's still just 3 on the board. So, Western Kentucky with a lot of time to make this comeback. But you know what?
Wow.
Kai gets his hat trick and stretches it out to 3 again.
Kai with the hat trick, putting that 3rd point away, 4th point in total for the team. 103 seconds remain. We're looking at 1 goal per 25-ish seconds for West Kentucky to win the series. That would give them a 5-4 advantage and our highest scoring game of the evening. But right now, 5 points on the board. And actually, now that I think about it, I think this is tied for our highest game of the evening. It's been a pretty low-scoring night.
Yeah, for one team tied, as I believe it was Cincinnati. It was Cincinnati who had gotten 4. Highest scoring game overall, though, between the 2 teams is their opponent was shut out in that series. As time continues to tick down, I mean, there is still time for Western Kentucky to mount a comeback. It's not impossible, and if anything, maybe give themselves some momentum heading into the next game. There's a pass in the midfield. Morales on the fake, allows Munch to go after it. Pat on the follow, left side, easily cut off by Morales, and it's really feeling like Western Kentucky is just struggling to maintain an offense. Not finding it so far with 60 seconds left. Butler looking more and more confident as they try to march towards this game 1 victory.
Yeah, Yeah, 60 seconds left on the clock. It's not impossible, but 1 goal per 20 seconds, and it's already down to 50, so we're well below that. Joe comes in quick toward the center field. There's an absolutely just terribly unlucky hit. The ball goes straight up. Kai is the one to catch it. The demolitions have been found. It's a complete bloodbath on the field, but demolitions alone are not going to win you the game. A phenomenal block from, I believe that was Avery. They find a second one there, keeping the scoreline at 4-1. 30 seconds left, 1 goal per 10. If WKU wants to bring this back to life, we are definitely entering a realm of impossibility here in game 1.
Yeah, Butler, complete domination, especially early on, controlling those first 30 seconds. Western Kentucky will do anything they can to try to bring it back in the final seconds, but won't mean much here. Maybe a double tap for momentum. Can't even get that. And you know what? Butler's got a freebie down the field. Munch will secure it himself. 5-1 Butler late.
5-1 Butler late. I mean, 5-1 Butler end here, Powder. We've got 5 seconds left on the clock, and I mean, maybe WKU puts one down for morale, but overall, they are not going to be able to walk away with this game 1. Now, I guess what we can kind of hypothesize, are we going to get the Cincinnati treatment? A pretty strong game 1, and then things start to fall a little lackluster in games 2 and 3. Only time will tell. Game 2 coming up in just a few moments as this game comes to a close. Ball hits the ground. Butler puts the W on the board, and they're going to get ready to jump right back into game 2. So, Powder, were there any, same question as always, were there any jarring errors you felt Western Kentucky was making there, or was Butler just playing their absolute A game?
It didn't seem like there were any massive mistakes from Western Kentucky. I said the same thing about Cincinnati as well. It really just felt like Butler came out from the gates hot. With those first 30 seconds, they had complete control of the game. They had all the confidence in the world, and it forced Western Kentucky to play in a spot that is extremely uncomfortable. What are you supposed to do even though you have a lot of time? You have 4.5 minutes, but you see 3-0 on the scoreboard. It is very hard to come back from that no matter how much time is left, and it felt like that good start is really what got Butler the win.
Yeah, and it's so funny at the beginning of the game, we talked about how mental can be so much more than the physical, and I think you've kind of nailed on that point again. You're at halftime, it's 3-0. Statistically speaking, not a lot of teams are coming back from that. So you're thinking, like, we've really got to be changing something up here. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the broadcast, that's the beauty of a best of 5, is you've lost game 1, but you've got at least games 2 and 3 to try and come back. It's going to be about what did we learn in game 1, what can we do with what we learned, and how can we improve overall? Because at the end of the day, this whole thing is about improving. It's about getting better. It's about becoming one of the best teams in the country. And right now, both these teams are trying to do just that. So again, I think we're getting ready to jump into game 2 here. And Powder, I mean, this is just one of those situations where, sure, it was a dominant game 1, but if WKU can find their footing, I don't see any situation in which this doesn't become a dominant game 2 for them.
It really feels like it could be, as, Western Kentucky quick onto offense, but right back into the hands of Butler again. Morale soft touchdown over towards Kai. Butler just right back to it again with the offense, the clear going into the hands of Butler. So maybe an awkward play will actually shut that down. Now it's over towards Western Kentucky. Powerful shot, ran Squirrel up to it in time. It's Rouse to follow, double tap down off the post, and not able to clean it up. Too tight of an angle to work with. Butler, shut down for the first 30 seconds this time, but still all the offense that they wanted.
I mean, shut down by both WKU and the Rocket League gods themselves. That was such an unfortunate not goal coming out from them. They were so close so many times, but close only going to count in horseshoes and hand grenades, and neither of those were involved in a game like a Rocket League. Nearly a minute off the board now. Pat finds a good setup for Butler, but it's going to go up and over that attacker. Kai brings it in quick, bounces it off the far right corner of the play. Does come through from Munch. I think there's a bit of a miscommunication there, but Morales now trying to find some value of his own. A clear down toward his own goal, but luckily enough, Kai is there in the way. A lot of chaos here about her.
Yeah, and it keeps going back and forth, and neither team able to find really that much offense just yet. Now it's Butler again. That shot much too wide. Avery putting it to the side, but it's into the hands of Butler again. Did he get his reset? Can't use it to his advantage. Powerful shot, fake from Morales. A quick turn, but a quick turn from the defense gets it shut down. It is still Butler offense. Western Kentucky seems to have calmed down just a little bit on defense. I might have spoke too soon. Shot top shelf pin from Kai.
I mean, what a shot from Kai to open things back up. It was Kai last time back in game 1. It looks like it's going to be Kai here in game 2. Goes through Avery, through Pat, into top right pocket, like you said, Powder. 3:28 on the clock. So if you're WKU, you're in a notably better position because you're still down, but you're not down by 3 this time. So there's absolutely a situation in which you can come back with a lot of time on the clock. But if Butler starts to run away with this like they did last time, that's when you start to get a little bit concerned. Oh,
Ooh, and I was gonna say, you might get a little bit concerned when you start jumping up a little bit. Pat caught upfield, able to get back in time. That's not gonna help Western Kentucky just yet. Now they have offense, can't get around, not enough in the tank to do it. Rand Squirrel can't even get the touch there. Instead of Pat over towards the back wall. Rand Squirrel beating him out. Kai racing in time, long clear out, cutting off the offense, but instead beaten out is Western Kentucky again. Butler is just playing, at this point, too fast for Western Kentucky to catch up with. You know, they're not completely out of this game, but it looks like Western Kentucky is just struggling to keep up with the speed.
2:36 on the clock, and winning by a single point is a win. I'll say that every time. But Butler, they want to put maybe one or two, definitely 2 more points down before they can really start feeling confident. I always say 2-point lead, never truly a lead in a situation like Rocket League. So we're down to 2:22 on the clock, and Butler trying to find some dominance of their own. Pat comes in quick as he's trying to find something for WKU. 1 point tie things up, could shake up the series just like we saw back in Series 1. That's how we saw the dominance kind of flip, is the losing team put the first point on the board, second point in, they won game 2, and they were able to win game 3, almost take the series, but unfortunately just could not do it.
Western Kentucky struggling to break out. Another shot racing in, that one wide. It's soft and slow enough to where Western Kentucky can gain control, but they're too slow with it. Open net, top shelf. Kai's got 5 on the day. Complete control and domination from him.
I swear, Powder, last time I saw Butler, or we saw Butler, you were there with me, I feel like I mentioned something along the lines of it being the Kai show. And here we are 3 or 4 weeks later. Does not feel much different. Kai is so unbelievably dominant out there on the field. Just play after play, time after time, the one to put things down. We're down to 100 seconds, 1 goal per 50 seconds from WKU, and that's just to tie things up. But 1 per 50, I mean, that is unbelievably achievable.
It is, but with the way that Western Kentucky struggled on offense and on defense, they really have just been broken apart by Kai's speed and the overall speed of Butler. Look at these challenges. They just cannot catch up. That shot is soft. He's able to get there in time. Kai will fake him out, force him to dump it into the corner. Ooh, a flick over one, gets around. What a solo play from Avery to give him life late.
The life late, but better late than never, as it is 1:09 on the clock, so we've got 70 seconds nearly ready for WKU to find a clutch out moment. They can tie things up here, Powder. Wouldn't be the first overtime, definitely won't be the last overtime we see in the situation like this. Munch goes in quick. That's an open goal, but you're a little bit too far off to the side. Pat able to steal it away, knocking it down toward that center field into Kai, who steals it back. It's the 3-letter name back and forth between these players. There's a great lineup for Morales, but Squirrel able to find it, steal momentum, and shift it the other way. Kai with the double setup. Where's the follow-through? There's the follow-through, but Rand Squirreler, I mean, just right place, right time. Phenomenal defensive play so far.
Poise from Rand Squirrel, but not overall for the Western Kentucky defense. A double commit keeps them out of going on offense, and Morales will try to double it home. Instead, it's Kai. 6 on the day now. Gives them a 2-goal lead. 36 seconds left.
Wait, that's actually such a good point, Powder. That is 6 points for Kai across 2 games. That's 2 games in a row. Kai has found a hat trick. Just nuts. Absurd, to say the very least. 36 seconds remain. 1 goal per, 17 seconds, give or take. And Butler, they're really looking to walk away from this with a 2-0 lead on the series. They're looking to get us back on schedule, you know? Game 5 takes us a little further than we expected. 3-0 might put us back, but there's that late life breath again. Rigor mortis has not set in yet. Instead, WKU hasn't even stopped breathing. They've got 27 seconds to put 1 more goal on the board, and they can tie things up and force an overtime.
I really like what I'm seeing from Rand Squirrel so far. The poise on the defensive end to play the shot slow and out to the side. In that time, a good aggressive play to get the shot in. Give them plenty of time left to get the final goal, especially when an awkward overcommit happens from Butler. Here we go, down into the corner now as Avery up. Cannot get the touch, but it's light now from Butler. Over towards the side, Pat. Getting bumped on the back line. Shot is wide. Such a tough angle to work with, but you got to reset quickly. Not the touch he wants. Kai just letting it die. Smart play from him, and Butler is on match point.
Butler is on match point. They are on series point. That would put them 3-3 on the season, I believe, so far. I think they're 3-2 or 2-3 right now, so I think they'll be 3-3 on the season. And Powder, for I think the first time in my Rocket League casting career, am going to say, I think Western Kentucky needs to just pocket their best player, which is Rand Squirrel. Because I usually say, oh, it's important all three of you are doing XYZ, XYZ. Every time Rand touched the ball, magic happened. There was a great goal. There were phenomenal defensive blocks over and over and over and over. I think if you just empower that player 10% more, you focus on passing to Rand, demoing so Rand can get into the fray, they're going to be a huge turnaround for Western Kentucky right now. Off of the, that puts a lot of pressure on one player, but I think that's not the worst strategy for them to bring out right now.
I gotta agree with you. He seems to be a leader of sorts for for Western Kentucky. I don't know if that's actually the case, but at least in this match, he is the one that is making the plays when necessary. All three of them are struggling at times with double commits and a little bit of panic, but Rand Squirrel seems to be the calmest of the three. He's the one who's had the poise defensively. He's the one getting the shots in for Western Kentucky. So it seems like he can be the one to lead them towards this potential reverse sweep. Obviously, you got to get through game 3 before you even have a shot at that. But it seems like it's possible. Butler, slowed down a little bit on offense, weren't as successful. They just have to shut down Kai. He has been the complete X factor of this series for both teams. If they can find a way to shut down Kai, I think Western Kentucky has a very, very good shot at coming back in this series.
Yeah, and I think that goes to kind of what we always talk about in terms of physicality. Just get in the way. Don't let Kai play the game, and you might have a lot more success. A phenomenal steal from Avery trying to pick up a goal that did not find its purchase. And, I mean, come on, thanks for putting an exclamation point on my statement here, Rand. The moment you touch the ball, there's a goal on board. WKU, for the first time, I believe, is in the lead.
And I want to say that's the case, and that time, Rand Squirrel was the one to knock it home, but I want to shout out Avery, an excellent, smart turn and a challenge to set that up for him. Rand Squirrel, the one to clean it up. 1-0 Western Kentucky, but Kai to the air again, so dangerous. Flip, reset, put away barely by Pat. Munch to the side wall, given into the hands of Avery, played down, beaten out by Pat. Western Kentucky seems to seem a little more confident. Might have spoken too soon. Kai with another gets the game tied.
Who else but Kai? Guy's the guy to come in and put that goal down when you least expect it. I mean, that's a coast-to-coast right there. Rand Squirrel falls a little bit short, didn't have enough boost in the tank, and paved the way for Butler to tie things up 1-1. We're not even a minute in. We got 2 points on the board already.
Good start from Western Kentucky. Little bit tough there. Not exactly over-aggressive, but just an unexpected long clear from Kai. Straight into the back of the net. Certainly can regain from that if you're Western Kentucky. But Kai now looking for the double. Gets it home. Kai, another one.
Come on. That is bonkers, bananas, absurd, whatever you choose to call it. It is uncanny the way Kai is able to just sneak these in when you'd least expect it. That's 2 points on the board. 4:04. Can't find the timer for some reason, but still, it is a great lead for Butler so far.
Tough here now with trying to get the goal in. Good demolition. Munch not what he wants. Challenge. Ooh, Munch resetting himself quickly to send that one towards the side. Pat getting bumped off. Instead, it's Munch now to the other side into Morales, who gives it away to Rand Squirrel. That goes off the corner. Kai for the clear out. Shot coming in just a bit high. Avery there for the stop. Wins out the challenge, too. Morales over towards the side now as we've had 90 seconds go by, and Western Kentucky, they're playing a lot faster, seeming to match that speed from Butler. Now it's just about finding the consistency with it and now just out-rushing yourself.
And I've got to say, we always talk about proactive versus reactive, and I think we're watching Butler be the proactive team, but Western Kentucky, for the first time, really trying to match that pace. It felt like they were comfortable being the reactive team, but now they're going to come through, they're going to try to match the speed and the momentum and the aggressiveness, and I've got to say, it's working pretty well. We're 2 minutes in, 3 left on the clock, and they're only down by a single point. There's a million timelines in which they tie things up here and force a 2-2, maybe even take the lead, if they can keep playing at the momentum they are, if they can continue to match the pace of Butler. But right now, Butler's finding demos left, right, and center.
You have to find a way to avoid these demolitions as Morales can see him just chasing there. Needs the save off the ceiling. He gets it. Rand Squirrel on the turn by 1, but into the hands of Munch. Looks for the back wall. Pat struggling to find this. Can only give it away to Kai. And Kai, we've seen how dangerous he can be in the air. Going for the bump. Instead, it's a pass, and Pat now into the hands of Kai once more. Quick pass across the field over to Morales. Gains control. Leaves it down now for Kai. Another challenge from him. It's into the hands of Munch. Western Kentucky just struggling to break out. Butler holding this offense and trying to put all the pressure they can, and finally it's broken.
Pressure has finally been broken. We're down to 2 minutes, and you know, Powder, not to be a broken record here, but winning by a single point, that's still a win. And just there, Western Kentucky tried to make sure there were no extra points in the board, but they fell just that little bit short, and a little bit gonna go a long, long way. 150 remains. Butler still up by 1 point, and they could walk away with our first 3-0 of the day. Definitely not our first of the season, let me tell you what, but our first of the day, regardless.
Looks like they're heading towards it unless Western Kentucky can piece something together quickly. Kai goes for another double tap. Doesn't find that one. Instead of pass, bottom left corner, cut off by Avery. Munch now to follow. It is Avery off the wall. The reset off the ceiling and plenty of boost. Still into the hands of Kai. See Butler just kind of slow playing this one. Not exactly rushing to get out onto offense. However, Western Kentucky will find it up. Shot down, tight angle off the crossbar. It's dangling along the goal line. Can't get it done. You
Production,
need all
clip
of
it.
in.
Production, clip this
Instead,
whole thing.
it's all the way down, and Morales will add a third on the board.
I mean, Powder, I can't remember the last time I saw a ball that close to entering goal without actually becoming a goal. That had to be 98% of the 100% necessary to find that goal. And holy cow, the Rocket League gods just not in favor of Western Kentucky here tonight. 60 seconds left, 1 goal per 30 for Western Kentucky to tie things up. Maybe they can force an overtime, maybe they can force a game 4, but I mean, after an unfortunate shot like that, you've got to assume morale is pretty low.
Yeah, they bet their entire lives on that goal, didn't get it. Instead, it's a breakaway, and now with less than 45 seconds left, they need 2. And Kai just dangerous in the air again, playing it away as Morales to the back wall, looking for a double cut off by Pat, but it's another double commit for West Kentucky, and because of it, they cannot break out. Less than 30 seconds left, and they need to get back quickly. Instead, it's Kai up for Morales off the back wall again. Kai low shot, third hat trick in a row. All 3 games, he has been a complete dominating factor.
Now here's what I want to know, Powder. 20 seconds left on the clock. Can Kai touch those double digits? We're at 9 points right now, 3 hat tricks in a row, which is crazy impressive. Don't get me wrong. But if one player can put down double-digit points in a single series, now that's something to brag about. So I would love to see Kai sit that one down. But either way, 3 hat tricks in a row. Oh, come on. So close, yet so far away. Close, but close. Only going to count in hand, horse, and shoe grenades, so it's not going to line up quite strong enough for Butler to put that 10-pointer down. But they are going to find that 3-game victory regardless. Just a phenomenal performance from them. In Western Kentucky, they put up a fight. That wasn't the 9-0s, 10-0s we were seeing back in weeks 1 and 2.
And really, this was... I don't even know what to say because Butler, you know, we both predicted them to win. They had a little bit less pressure coming in with the slightly worse record. But I was not expecting complete and utter domination. I was not expecting the Kai legacy match. Like, Kai, I am just shocked at what I saw today.
Undoubtedly so. I mean, Kai came out, just kicked butt, took names, and everything in between. Dominance after dominance. Oh, please tell me this is it. Look at that. Look at that. That is 99% in, but the game simply does not care. God, shout out our production team, clipping everything that I just yelled clip that. I love you guys. That's such high quality, but I cannot remember the last time I saw a goal like that where it's all but in. It is 99% of the way there. There's no follow through. Not only do they not score, they then immediately get scored on.
And that can be the risky thing. And I think it's funny because it kind of brings it full circle from what you said earlier. The ball needs to be 100% in. I think you said that in the first series. Yeah. It doesn't matter if it's halfway through. You got to get every pixel of that ball into the back of the net. They couldn't get it done. And like I said, they bet their lives on it, and it cost them dearly. Instead, it was the securing goal to win this series for Butler, again, in such dominating fashion. Western Kentucky looked fantastic the last couple of games, but after that domination in Game 1, it really felt like it was Butler's series to lose.
It did. I mean, it was, what, 3 points in 30 seconds, I think? And back in Game 1, Butler just showed up, just started knocking people down left, right, and center. Found a great success there, and I'm very excited because I think we've got our interview ready here. And who else do we want to interview but Kai, right? I mean, the person who comes in, nails 3 hat tricks in a row, and just continues a dominance across an amazing series. So I think they're getting that interview ready now. But I'm blown away because I had faith in Butler. We've seen what they can do. But I think you said it best, Powder. Nobody expected the Kai legacy match here tonight. Just absolute unmatched dominance throughout that entire series.
It certainly was, and set up by his teammates as well. It was all around great team play from Butler, and now we finally get them in the interview booth, sending over to that now.
Oh.
But what a match. We get to sit down with Kai. Who else?
Kai,
Kai, how you doing?
I'm good. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, perfect. So sorry I cut you
All right,
off,
awesome.
Powder. I'm so excited to ask Kai. I just what a series from you in particular, Kai. I mean, 3 hat tricks in a row right at the beginning. We're like, Butler could probably win this, and then you sink 3 points in 30 seconds, and we're like, oh, okay, 6. So Kai's just playing out of his absolute mind tonight. So I mean, I want to ask is and without giving away too much of your team's strategy, of course, is it kind of an intention to just let Kai be Kai? Are they setting you up for these successes, or was this just you finding opportunity after opportunity tonight?
I think it's a mix of both. Like, I think in previous seasons and like semesters, I would tend to play like more passive, like 3rd man role. So I wanted to be like more involved in the offense because I do think I have like the individual ability and mechanics to like set plays up. But it was just about like making myself more involved in those offensive rotations. But there's also a part of it of my teammates doing a really good job of setting me up as well. I think Morales got like a ton of assists that series off of goals that I scored. And he's like, both him and Moncho just doing a really good job just using their mechanics to set me up for free shots.
And for both of my questions, I kind of want to inquire about how like your season's going, how you're coming into it and going out of this. Because coming in, 2 and 3, a little bit further down on the standings. But how are you feeling coming in, knowing that it's going to be a tough road ahead to try to get into playoffs?
It's definitely a bit tough. Like our previous 2 weeks, like both the series just ended in like absolute stomps. Like I think we just got 0-3 for both of them. So it's definitely a bit tough to keep like the mentality high and like just make sure that we're just trying to like stay positive. This series was really good to win just for our overall like morale and like confidence. But I know that it's like we obviously picked up Morales as our new 3rd this season, so like we're still just trying to like build up that chemistry and like that team play. So I'm not too worried about the results right now. I think we'll get better as the season goes on, but right now we're just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah, and that almost kind of answers my second question as well, because I was going to say, how are you guys feeling going into the remainder of the season now? You even yourselves with Western Kentucky at 3-3 apiece, and you have 1 match left on the season, Roanoke College, who's again a little bit lower on the leaderboard. So how are you feeling going in, knowing that there is still life into playoffs?
Pretty good. This series was definitely a confidence booster for us. Like I said, the previous 2 series didn't go too well, but I think that this will give us like some refound like confidence, and like I think we'll do pretty well next week. And it'll be nice to potentially end the season going even.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you guys did a phenomenal job here today, and like you said, picking up Morales definitely seems to be working out. I mean, a good chunk of the time, because that was a phenomenal series here tonight. But just one more quick question for you before we let you go. Is there anybody you would like to give a general thank you or just a shout out to while you're here with us?
Of course. There's quite a few people. First, shout out to my teammates. They're always working hard, always playing on their own time. We're always doing team practices. We're trying to, scrimmage more teams this year. They're putting in a lot of hard work, and it shows. I think we've already gotten a lot better from when we started. Want to shout out my boy Astro. He's always watching the streams. He was on our team last year, and even though he's not now, it's always nice that he's still watching, still supporting us. And then lastly, my family, especially my mom. Like they're always watching my series, just supporting me, sending me text messages after every goal. It's always awesome to have them watching and see their support. So yeah.
Absolutely. Hey, well, Kai, thank you so much for joining us, and a huge congrats on this win tonight.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And with that, folks, you guys know the drill by now. We're going to get ready. We're going to throw it to another break. We've got Series 3 coming up in just a moment here. It's going to be Northeastern University versus James Madison University. Northeastern, they are 4-0, undefeated, so that's going to be quite an interesting series jumping into that. We'll see you folks right back here in just a couple of minutes.
effort that you can't help but be impressed to see 4 players this much on the same page.
BPR, he wants more. That's 12. Slack on out the staircase, but he's not telling yet. Call for
Night Owl once again with ball control has not been able to do much with it. A phenomenal setup for a double tap and a follow through the crossbar. Oh, the thread of the needle from Storm. I think that is past 2, if not all 3 defenders. Let's get another look at that. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3.
But his way back into the round and over towards mid. Retina finds more contact. He spotted, I think, maybe at least 1 more, but the other 2, not the one, definitely on the cards. He's got flicks for more days. He finds 3 off the back of the NWP. Amore able to close elsewhere.
Oh, that was looking deadly with the X-Ray. Truman almost having a shot landed.
Oh, what the?
Oh my god! Well, there it goes. There's the map. Truman, the great spray through the smoke.
I didn't even think of that. He's only lost 1 stock this entire time. I didn't even think of that. Oh my goodness. This is just, we thought that first set was domination. That's That's stock number 8, and that is officially Nate Star League Fall Season 2022 record. That is 8 stocks coming through.
Oh no, no way!
Yo, end it.
Now I know everybody's sitting there thinking, gosh, how do I watch all those cool plays that aren't Rocket League? Guys, I've got the coolest news. Okay, so today, Rocket League, obviously, that's why you're here. But Wednesday, Call of Duty and Valorant, back-to-back, double whammy on Wednesday. It's sick. You gotta go check that out. Thursdays, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Both the honorable mention and the #1 clip of the week are both Smash Ultimate. Clearly something super cool is happening over there. We should all go check that out. And of course, on Fridays, none other than CSGO, one of the oldest esports in history. So it's a cool one to check out. Welcome back, everybody. I just ate an entire bowl of pasta in 3 minutes, joined by Powder, and we are bringing you our 3rd series of tonight. And Powder, I'm starting to sound like a broken record, but this one is kind of a big deal.
Yeah, it is. I know we keep repeating ourselves, but it really is. It goes to show, like at the beginning of the broadcast when we talked about how this is really when it gets down to it. It is, and it's being proven tonight. We've got Northeastern University against James Madison University, 4-0 versus 3-1. Northeastern bringing out Shot Guy, Yellow, and Frazier versus James Madison, Skell, Ability, and Gad. And for Northeastern University, especially for them, coming in undefeated, not yet having gone against the next best team in their division, they need to get this win tonight because you never know how the next one's going to go. When you go against that team who is also 4-0, you could end up dropping, and that could push you from 1st to 3rd in an instant.
And those series are always the scariest because you look at it and you're like, okay, somebody's got to lose. So somebody's walking away no longer undefeated. And that, like you said, can have an insane detriment on the rest of their season, on their overall standings. And I'm eager to jump into this one because we do have, that natural little bit of disagreement. I can't help myself. I love the underdog story. I'm so stinking excited to see what James Madison can bring out because this is a team that I've seen before. I don't think it was here at NACE, but it may have been. This is a Rocket League team that I have had a chance to see before, and I know what they can bring out if they are swinging at that full caliber.
They can, and what's tough for them is that they're coming in at 3-1, and that's because of an unfortunate loss last week. They lost to a team who was sitting at 1-2, so not a bad team at all, but a team that they felt that they should have gotten a win against, and instead they're walking in and sort of 4-0, as well as Northeastern. They're sitting 3-1, and they still have yet to face the 2 toughest teams in their division, which is this week and next week, those 4-0 teams. So not exactly doing themselves any favors last week with the loss, but plenty of time to regain, because if they walk away with a win tonight, suddenly they're even with Northeastern University and have a shot at that #1 seed by taking down the next team.
And I think that's what's so crazy about this series in particular is it could be the series of all series for James Madison. They could tie themselves with Northeastern, one of the highest ranked teams in this conference so far, or they fall even further and things can get really rough. They drop into a 3-2. They fall into kind of the commonwealth of where a lot of teams are finding themselves sitting right now. So it really, I mean, I've said it every series, this is going to be the game that impacts the standing scoreline for both of these teams in a major way. Win or loss, both of these teams are really going to shake up the entirety of the scoreboard, the entirety of the standings.
Really could, and for Northeastern University, again, want to get this win. 4-0, have not gone against Nichols College yet, which is the other 4-0 team. So you get this tonight, you walk into Nichols College controlling your own destiny. Again, another common theme of a lot of these teams is that they are in control of their own destiny. Just with the way that the schedules have lined up, you know, they face these tougher teams late with a chance to get themselves into that #1 seed where they go straight to the conference championships. So Northeastern University, maybe a little more pressure for them here tonight, just wanting to get that win. Overall, though, I do think it's James Madison with a lot on their shoulders tonight going against Northeastern University. Nichols College next week need to get this win. Otherwise, they might find themselves not even in that 3 seed.
Oh, man, not even in the 3 seed to go from... from the very top to sink down to that Commonwealth, that center area, so to speak. That's a terrifying possibility. I mean, I'd love to say that, it's never going to happen, but there's a very real chance that can happen, Powder, and it all depends on what these next 3 to 5 games look like. If Northeastern comes out and just simply does undefeated things, if they come out and they dominate 7, 8, 9, 0, then of course they're going to remain at the top. But like I mentioned, I've seen what JMU can do. And if they can come out full caliber, if they can give us their best Butler impression here tonight, I mean, we're going to have another shakeup on our hands.
We could, and it's funny because I feel the same way for Northeastern University as well. It feels like that they could come out and just completely dominate JMU from what we've seen from them as well. Deep runs in CRL qualifiers, both of them, I want to say, weren't able to make it in, but still going against some fantastic teams, giving themselves that experience, giving themselves basically free scrims to go against a team like JMU and later on Nichols College as well. So for Northeastern University, got to get this done tonight. Otherwise, they themselves are going to have a rough end of the season.
Nobody wants to end the season with a whimper instead of a bang, and there's only one way to make sure you don't do just that. It all depends on the next 15 to 25 minutes. Starting off strong, Yellow comes in quick, some great ball control, but ability goes up high, uses every single ounce of that boost. Try and find anything, try and find a goal, a clear, something to put their team in a dominant position, but it looks like it's going to be another JMU teammate who comes in quick. I could not catch the name. I think it was Gad who finds it, knocks it into goal, but gets knocked right back out. 20 seconds already off the clock, and I've got to say, Powder, this series, we're 20 seconds and I can confidently say it's going to be a heck of a lot faster than anything we've seen tonight.
It certainly will be, as now finally Northeastern breaking out. Not for long. This start from James Madison feels very similar to Butler's, other than the fact that, there's not 3 goals on the board already. But still, they've held the offense in well. Northeastern has really struggled to find consistent clears out. Not exactly the pass that they want, but they give it away. Not the start Northeastern wants. JMU up early.
Oh man, that's what JMU can JM do, just capitalizing on the smallest mistake. Yellow and shot guy double commit, they're hugging each other a little bit off to the left of the goal, and they left the goal wide open. A great sneak in from Gad, you're up by 1 point, but that's the weird thing about scoring so early. Scoring with 4 minutes left is, Northeastern, they've got more than enough time to kind of respond. You know what I'm saying?
I do. Northeastern march down the field. They don't like giving up the goal, so Frazier will dish it off to Yellow, straight into the back of the net. Not even 1 minute having gone by. We're already knotted back up.
I love it. I love how close these series have been today. I was traumatized. 8 3-0s in a row. Was it 10? I don't even remember. It was too many. But now we're seeing so many close series. Even if it doesn't go to a game 4, we're seeing score lines like 3-2 or 3-1. We have not seen one of those 6, 7, 8-0s in weeks. And I'm loving every ounce of it. Oh my goodness. Shot guy gets as close can be, but it's Frazier who sinks that goal in and puts Northeastern up. Back where, statistically you'd expect them to be.
This is... I wanted to try to analyze this replay because I'm trying to figure out what goes wrong here from James Madison. It wasn't exactly a bad decision to go up the wall, but the problem is that there is no teammate to be on the back line. So instead it's off the post and into the net. So James Madison maybe a little to clean up defensively, giving up 2 quick goals now. They have, or I should say, Northeastern has the lead. Now a stop is made over towards the side, taken off the field, allowing actually JMU to break out. A good push up. We'll get them some offense again. Gad off the back wall now, looking for the demolition. Shot coming in, perfect placement from Ability, getting the game tied.
I couldn't have said it better. Perfect placement from Ability there. Gad takes it up. It's a little bit reckless, but just Ability. Right place, right time. Yellow and Frazier actually collide. I mean, now that's both teams. We've seen a bit of a funky choice on the defense. It doesn't work out how they want it to. They kind of fumble a little bit, but a 2-2 scoreline, absolutely still anybody's game. We're just now getting about 2 minutes into this. No way.
Oh, that is so tough for Northeastern.
That's
trying to get up to it. He does get the touch, but it's just such a powerful shot that he can only send it into the crossbar.
It's like one of those in quotes like own goals. Even if he wasn't gonna touch it, it's still going in. Just nothing you could do. But unfortunate to say the least. I mean, what a Hail Mary shot from JMU there.
A great shot gets them the lead once again, especially after giving up 2 quick goals in succession to go down themselves. They regain quickly, gain that lead back. Now they're looking for the offense once more as Gad, winning out that challenge, jumps into the corner, looking to steal the boost, and does. Yellow behind him. Drop down to the midfield, cut off by Northeastern, though. Off the back wall, needs the read, gets it, but it's right out to Frazier. Slots it to the right post, off and into Shot Guy. Gets the game tied up once again.
Now, I don't remember who it was, Powder, but I think it was 2 weeks ago. There was a team I was talking about where I said if plan A didn't work, they had plans B through Z at the ready. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing with Northeastern. They go for an A plan. Uh-oh, didn't work. Here's plan B. Uh-oh, here's plan C, D, E. I mean, they just, time after time, they seem to have these contingencies that are really working out well for them. Keep this game at least even.
Oh, and that bomb almost sends it in. But yeah, I'm liking the way that Northeastern is playing. Their rotations are allowing them to have those contingency plans, but James Madison a little too quick. Barely put away, and Northeastern a couple times now has been surprised from the counterattack from James Madison. It's something they need to respect going forward, because that time it was almost their second counterattack goal of the game.
Yeah, I mean, okay, speaking of counterattack goals, I mean, Gad, I think kind of steals momentum there, steals ball control. Let's get another look. Skell takes it up high. And no, okay, no, I'm sorry, it was Skell into Gad. I thought it was a steal from Northeastern, but a goal is a goal regardless, and that one much more calculated than I thought it was, so even more impressive. 2 minutes off the clock, and Powder, I think this is such a random statistic to offer. I think this is the closest high-scoring Game 1 we've seen this season. I mean, usually a team is pretty dominant in Game 1, and then things start to shake up a little bit, but we're rocking and rolling at a 4-3 in Game 1 of the series.
Almost a 4-4, still a chance for it. High-scoring affair so far, and we still got time on the clock. Northeastern has already brought it back a couple times. Have to see if they do it again. One demolition opening things up. A miss maybe coming in clutch, but there's nothing in the tank for Yellow. Can't get the challenge. Frazier to follow off the ceiling. Shot Guy with a little left in the boost. We'll skip this towards the back wall. Now Yellow to follow, instead beat now by James Madison. Into open space, allowing James Madison the clear. They'll return to offense again, and Northeastern has to go back to the drawing board again as they try to find their way back in. Try to get the game tied up once more.
68 seconds left on the clock, and a great clear in from JMU with the defense. They've got more than enough time to get there. A re-clear into center field. It looks like Shot Guy goes a little high, but Yellow is the one to get that ball out of dodge. However, I mean, it's got to be Northeastern putting something down, and they're going to find themselves in a one-game deficit. We've got 53 seconds remaining, and we are getting closer and closer to JMU taking that series lead. Now, this is weird because we're getting to that point where Northeastern, they're almost fighting the clock more than they're fighting JMU at this point.
And it feels like it with the way that they have to keep going back and forth. Now here's an opportunity. Drop down to Frazier. Shot wide. Another pass backwards. Shot Guy racing in. Pass again to Frazier. The team play working out for shots, but not goals yet. 30 seconds left, and Northeastern is continuing this pressure. Shot Guy too tough of an angle to work with. Gad back in the midfield. Shot Guy for the challenge again.
Goodness.
James Madison standing tall. Shot Guy on the turn once more. Cannot get it. It's out from Gad again. Yellow needs the stop, but instead it's just up along the back wall. Northeastern needs to race back quickly. Can't get it done yet. Need coast to coast. In this last second, Gad will look to kill this. Can't do it yet, but there's nothing in the tank. He's forced to give it up. Yellow for the shot. No! Send it to overtime.
I'm so excited! Oh my goodness, okay. 4-4, 0-second bonus time goal. Northeastern clutches out, and they are gonna force us into an overtime. Okay, I got goosebumps my whole body when that happened. That was, oh my goodness, how riveting, folks. Our first overtime of the night, 4-4 on the board. Now, overtime is fancy because that timer stops counting down, and it will count up as long as it has to. I have never seen a limit. I have seen overtimes hit like 18 minutes. Hopefully we don't get one of those here tonight, but I I've seen them go forever, basically, and with the best bump I have ever seen. Shotgun has that win ripped away. Yellow is also going to whiff the shot, 2 in a row from Northeastern, and that's going to open up the window for JMU to get a little bit of action, a little bit of momentum. Gad takes it downfield, clears it right back into Yellow, goes for the demolition, falls just a little bit slow,
what
a
a
little bit short. Yellow
challenge.
takes it back into Shot Guy. It's going to go up off the crossbar. Where's the follow-through? No, falls a little short. Once again, it's up to Frazier to save the goal, and still going to get blocked out by JMU. That was pure chaos. 5 attempts on goal from Northeastern right now. They have not been able to land a single one. Shot Guy keeps the ball alive, and we are rocking and rolling further into this overtime.
Northeastern just can't get anything through. They're missing the shot wide. It's getting stopped by James Madison, but it's getting stopped by their own teammates. And now James Madison with an opportunity, past it ability, he gives it backwards. Space and time for both to work with, his ability to cut it off. He takes the 100 boost, goes to the ceiling. He's got his reset, he uses it for a pass. Shot cut off by Yellow as it's dumped into the corner now. Yeah, to the midfield. Shot Guy there first. Desperation clear. Now as Frazier goes down, cut off by ability again. Soft shot, cut off by the defense one more time. Shot Guy will beat out 2. Can't beat out the last though. Struggling to break out as Northeastern. Frazier towards the side, needs this follow-up. He gets it. If anything, it slows them down. And now James Madison right back in it again.
Here's a silly little reminder for you folks. This is game 1, by the way. I talked about not having seen this close of a game 1 in ages. And they said, Sepulin, you think that's close? Watch this. They forced us into an overtime. Yellow fights a great defense, and nobody wants to go down without a fight. We are halfway into what could have been game 2. But because nobody is letting a goal go in, we are still hanging in that game 1. Now Yellow finds something ability into a little bit of action there. Tries to take it down quickly. The clear not able to line up. Frazier now with ball control of their own, but it's going to be in the clear from ability. I mean, that was a coast to coast, I think. Let's get the replay on this.
Fantastic solo play. Uses his reset to land quick. Dish it by both defenders. And what poise from James Madison to give up that 0-second goal to send it to overtime and still fight their way to a victory 2 minutes into the OT. A fantastic game all around. In Northeastern, you gotta be kicking yourselves a little bit. They had so much pressure early in that overtime, but couldn't get it done.
Now, we know Northeastern is 4-0. We don't know how those series really panned out, right? So thinking about it, is this the first time in a long time they've actually found themselves on a deficit? That's something we have to wonder, is how often are they losing game 1 in their series? It hasn't happened at all. It hasn't happened up to this point even once. Are they clean sweeping the board? But right now, James Madison coming out. I mean, they got that dog in them there, coming out quick, coming out with that dominance, and they're able to win in that overtime. Gotta do it 2 more times, though, which I feel like it's going to get increasingly harder.
It certainly is going to be. Northeastern need to turn things around quickly. I'm taking a look at their past schedule now. In Semblance, that is their first game loss of the season. They took a forfeit victory at the beginning. Other than that, if the schedule is correct, sweeps all the way through. James Madison has just done what no other team can do, and now they are 2 games away from giving themselves that better opportunity late in the season to get back into the 2 and 3 seed.
Just when I thought I couldn't love this series anymore, we find out we've got another NACE first happening, and it's going to be James Madison taking the first game off of Northeastern. This is a scary moment for Northeastern Powder, but also you've got to wonder, is it going to light a fire under them that we have never seen from them before, because they've never been in this losing position. Their backs have never been against the wall like this, and now that they are, can the Huskies push themselves even further than we've seen them go?
Got to take a good turnaround after a high-scoring overtime loss like that. A lot to fight back from, but early on in game 2, they do have the offense and an opportunity as it's into the midfield from Frazier. Flick over one off the crossbar, and these accuracy issues continue to plague Northeastern. It got to them in overtime. It got to them even in regulation late before they got it tied up. It's something they need to clean up. Maybe they can get it done here. There you go. Accuracy like that will win you matches. Yellow with the first on the board.
Yeah, a bit of a, I'm not going to call that an open goal, but a bit of an easier goal than expected. Ability goes a little bit too high. Skelt isn't able to get there in time either, and that just kind of leaves Northeastern in a really comfortable spot. They put that point down, 27 seconds off the clock. Got to put a couple more down before they can really start to feel comfortable. Reminder, they're still down by an entire game, no matter how this one goes. And, I mean, Powder, those are not mistakes you can afford to be making right now.
This is a very aggressive push if you're Frazier off kickoff. He goes to the corner, which is normal, but after that, he aggressively goes for the challenge. And Shot Guy was over at midfield, getting the midfield boost. And because of that, no one is home for when James Madison wins the challenge. Another opportunity sent high off the back wall. Frazier will cut that one off. But James Madison, some struggles here. A good speedy cutoff from the defense will shut down that opportunity, but they're finding more open space now. Shot guy, though, over to Frazier, chipping it high. Stop made from Gad. Northeastern, though, will try to get around on this and continue the offensive set.
Oh, speaking of offense, Yellow going to put that second point down, putting Northeastern back in the lead. And this is the second game in a row where we haven't even made it a full minute into the series, or into the game rather, and there's already 3 points on the board. Northeastern really trying to win this series, really trying to put themselves back on top. But James Madison, they are never going to let that happen easily.
And back to 2-1 Northeastern. Stuck on each other, though, is Frazier. Not able to find that one. Still an opportunity. Well, good chance, though, now. Just trying to play it slow. Can't find the ball, though. Frazier himself slow into the corner. Takes it along now at the side. We'll need one more challenge over Gad, but instead he's got 100 boost. Gets it over one. Ability coming in. Good cut from Yellow, however. Frazier leaving it for Yellow. Beaten out by Gad, and now it's an open net down the field, but Gad can't get around on it. Oh, and now a bump comes in from Ability. James Madison really could have had it tied up here, but unfortunately Northeastern's back to offense.
Northeastern back to offense, where honestly I'm sure they prefer to be. Oh my goodness, a complete and total demolition dirty happening in the center field. There's going to be Ability trying to find some momentum. Now passes it up. Frazier to catch it. Gad to get obliterated, removed from this mortal coil. And now Frazier takes it up high off the crossbar, falls a little bit off to the right side. Nobody able to find a goal quite yet. 3 on the board, 3 minutes remaining. Scoreline still at a 2-1 in favor of Northeastern.
Now Northeastern breaking in again. A good pass. This one wide. Smart, though, keeping it away from the defense. Yellow slowing himself down. Soft shot will be cut off by Skell. It's now Frazier. Powerful pass off the back wall. One there first. Off the back wall again. Beaten out. And that was the last man. An aggressive play might come back to bite Northeastern. Off the crossbar, the save. And a fake out will cost James Madison again.
Oh, hell!
All the way down the field. What a turnaround as Northeastern gets another.
Oh man, another, and I'm not going to say for free, Powder, but for free. A little bit here. Ability and Gad, they're near the ball, but they simply cannot catch up. That's a 3-1 on the board. We have just now entered the second half of Game 2. Northeastern, they're shaping up. They're going to try to give us another Game 4, or at least guarantee a Game 4. Game 3 still has to happen after this one, but with 2.5 minutes, we've seen JMU clutch out some pretty big moments. So I'm not going to count them out quite yet.
No, they're not out of this at all. In fact, they have a chance to come back in this game. It's going to be tougher, though, when Frazier slots that one home.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a little bit harder when Northeastern puts another point on the board. So 2:13, that's 1:33 on the clock. You've got 3 points you need to find, and someone can do the math for me because I'm not even going to try. But JMU, they are definitely in a rough spot here in Game 2. So they won Game 1, surprisingly so in that 2.5 minute overtime, but Game 2 definitely more in favor of Northeastern. And Powder, I think this is kind of what I was trying to talk about, is the more JMU plays a behemoth team like Northeastern, I think the harder it's going to become, because Northeastern is going to learn their rotations and their boost preferences and their strategies, and anything they're looking to bring to the table, Northeastern is going to learn how to pick apart. And I'm wondering if that's what we're already seeing here in Game 2.
It seems like it. They've adjusted to James Madison's play style, and they've started to pick it apart, holding them to only 1 goal after, 5 in Game 1. They might have a second here, not able to get it through just yet. Pass in the midfield will give them their second. This ability gives them life here with less than 90 seconds left.
Ability, like you said, less than 90 seconds left. They put another point down, so we're looking at 1 goal per, 44 seconds, give or take, and that's plenty of time to put them down, especially if they can continue the aggression they found in the last 30 to 45 seconds. We're going to have to wait and see what is brought to the table here. Gad takes it up quick, but Frazier's the one to steal it away. Takes it high, a bit of a slow roller through the air, down into the far right corner. Shot guy, an amazing setup. Frazier, the follow-through is there, but he hits Yellow with plan B, which also is not going to work. Gad attempts to steal ball control. It's a bit of a back-and-forth clash, a full demolition derby as 4 players are stuck in that center field. Frazier tries to take it in quick, bounces off the corner. Follow-through necessary for this moment. Ability smacks it down. Here it is. Nope, there it goes. Yellow ready to take it right back. No goal in sight for either team.
I like what I saw from James Madison there. The idea of the pass worked out, but wasn't able to execute it perfectly. So now it's Northeastern looking to build upon this lead, or if anything, waste more time refuse James Madison even the opportunity of a comeback. Now they have it, but a miss from ability. A quick turn from Frazier, looking for the corner, gets the follow into the midfield, and again, all this is doing is wasting more and more time. Northeastern looks ready to take this game and even up this series. James Madison struggling to break out. Now late, this one towards the side, can't get it done. The bump actually might work out, but they're too slow to it again. It's around one, but not around Frazier in less than 20 seconds left. Looking like Northeastern's gonna tie us.
Frazier trying to put that fifth one down to just really kind of make sure the message has been sent. But with 10 seconds left, that's 1 goal per 5. We'd essentially need a goal right now and then a kickoff goal immediately after. And as we're down to 5 now, that makes that all but impossible. I kind of like the slow game NEU's trying to play at the end here, where they're just like, yeah, just burn out the timer. We don't have to score. Just make sure that they also don't score, and they didn't. So, folks, second time tonight, we are guaranteed a game 4. We still have to get through game 3, and that is truly going to dictate how history falls apart here. Will it be JMU with another underdog unexpected win, or is Northeastern going to continue this expected dominance as they showed us here in game 2?
At this point, I feel like Northeastern might continue it. It didn't feel like a dominating James Madison victory in game 1. I mean, it's a momentum builder. You get an overtime win like that. But Northeastern with a 4-1 victory like that, really suffocating James Madison. I feel like they have a lot more momentum coming into this game 3. And it's going to be tough. James Madison has a lot to turn around now. Northeastern kind of controlled the ball for the entirety of that game. And it's something they need to figure out how to shut down if they want a shot to get up in the series.
Getting a shot in the series is what it's all about, and James Madison needs to make that happen right here, right now. If they can win this upcoming game, they can possibly snake out that game 4, or who knows, win a game, or force a game 5, depending on how the cards fall. Let me tell you what, folks, the cards are all on the table. Just in case you're joining us here late in the series, this is a pivotal series for both of these teams. Northeastern can remain undefeated, bump themselves up to 5-0 or 4-1. There'll be quite a few teams down at that 4-1 scoreline, and James Madison right now, I believe, is 3-1. So if they go up 4-1, they're jumping way up. But if they fall to 3-2, they are falling into what I've been referring to as the Commonwealth, because there are quite a few teams hovering around that 3-2 scoreline right now.
And especially we talked about earlier with facing that other top team in their division, Nichols College, next week, I believe. Again, another team who's undefeated. You want to get this win if you're James Madison, because you do not want to lose 2 in a row. Almost an early goal. Can't get it. It's a clear out from Northeastern, standing tall in the defensive line. James Madison got to reset from that.
I mean, that is an unfortunate... Oh, man. Talk about unfortunate. I'm getting flashbacks of last series where we see a goal so close yet so far away, and then you go to get scored on. I mean, it's close, but close isn't going to count in grenade shoes and horses with hands, so it's definitely not something we want to see moving further into the series. We want to see them landing these more consistent, more aggressive goals. For Northeastern, I mean, they've taken a lead again. That's where they love to be.
They're looking for another good pass off the back wall. Frazier coming in. Should be able to get to that. Ability does. A turn quick from Frazier, though. Pass across the middle, shot wide, and Northeastern. This pressure they are putting on in all the games. I shouldn't even say that it's really just since game 2, because they had 4 in both games 1 and 2, but it just feels a lot more different when it's the ability to suffocate out James Madison, to refuse the ability to get onto offense. That makes us feel a lot more dominating from them.
1 minute off the clock, and this is the lowest scoring game we've seen so far, just due to the natural kind of cause of the game. We're just seeing a 1 point on the board from either side, and we see almost a second one come through. Ability takes one Northeast member out of the equation, and now it's going to be ball control back in favor of James Madison. Yellow meeting them smack in center field. Nobody's ball right now.
James Madison, quick turn, will give themselves offense over Gad's head, though. He's got to race back. Good dump around 1. Ability up to this, maybe a little bit too far, and it is into the corner, though. Still able to get a chance, but nobody pushing up on that. Instead, it's Northeastern back the other way to the hands of Skell, killing it down, looking to get it over 1, but he cuts off his teammate. Need a turn here from Northeastern. They at least get the offense going. James Madison, a little bit of a struggle here early on, especially when Yellow makes plays like that.
I mean, it's a dominance from Yellow right now, Powder. I feel like maybe we have not been using this name as much as we should be. Yellow is coming out and putting, I feel, a majority, if not almost all of the goals we've seen from Northeastern tonight.
Yeah, he has been the leading man for Northeastern up to this point. 2-0 now, both of them his goals. As Frazier looks to build upon it some more. Going to go over one into the midfield. Opportunity for Skell. Left side shot put away from Shot Guy. Rotation in from ability. We'll get it out to the midfield, right into the hands of Yellow once more. Not able to find that touch. Able to get that challenge, though, as Frazier down. No one there from James Madison. Double down. And Gad will get around on it. Get it clear out. Good stop. But James Madison need to get something going on offense.
Definitely need to get something going on the offense here, like you said. And we've got to see something because they're entering the second half of Game 3. If they lose this one, that's 2 game losses in a row, and that's a spot no team really wants to be in. I feel like we don't often see teams. Well, okay, never mind. I guess we saw Cincinnati earlier, so I'm going to throw that entire theory out the window. But either way, James Madison, they really need to put something down. They need to establish not even a dominance, but a presence to show that they are going to be willing to move into that next game, try to clutch it out, and try to clutch that Game 5. But it feels like, you know, maybe James Madison overplayed their hand in Game 1, and Northeastern immediately learned all of their tricks.
Certainly could be the case. They are just struggling to really get anything going against Northeastern. Another pass down, a double commit for the stop. Skell luckily gets it over one, slows down the quickly approaching offense off the backboard, shot down, cut off by Gad. Good stops here from James Madison, but they need to clean up those double commits. Otherwise, eventually, it's going to cause them to crack.
97 seconds remaining on the clock, and Shot Guy actually has a huge opener there, but it's also a little bit off to the right side. There wasn't the follow-up where they needed it. A bit more of that demolition in the middle field here. Oh, Gad's got a free goal, and yup, oh my goodness. So there's such a weird situation there because when you demolish a player, they go and they respawn back in front of their own goal. Let's look how close this Northeastern player was to finding that shot. Shot Guy was milliseconds. He was frames away from blocking that shot because he was demolitioned in the center field. So it's a really interesting problem that you kind of have. Is the demo worth it? Because situations just like that, had he been demoed 1 second earlier, that goal would have been blocked.
And that gives me flashbacks to the RLCS winner Major. You know, the infamous save coming in.
Oh, yes.
From then Team Queso, just diving in after the demolition. So unfortunate there for Northeastern, they couldn't get it, but they do have the offense still. That one is put away from James Madison. They're 1 goal away with 60 seconds left. Getting this hide, can't get the bump on Frazier. And Skell left boostless in the midfield. Shot is on. Gad getting the stop. Where he's almost taken off the field. It's a pass right into his hands, but the shot is wide. Needs the rebound, can't get it. Another shot in, 2 go up for the stop. Gad back into the midfield. 1 goes up. It's Skell. Plays it to the back wall slowly. The smart play here is he now gives it back to ability. But a long pinch out will force James Madison to reset things.
I don't know if I'm just more of an empath today than normal Powder, but so many of these almost goals are just so painful because they could change the narrative at the drop of a hat, but you can get as close as you want, but if it doesn't go in, it never counts, and that is devastating because JMU was inches away from being able to tie things up. Now with 10 seconds left on the clock, they are itching for an overtime, and they're really going to need some help to find it. Frazier takes it all the way down the field with the stolen back ability. Might be able to find something. It's going to fall a little bit off to the right, knocked away by Shot Guy, and that, I think, has to be the nail in the coffin of Game 2. It goes up high. Where's the follow-through? A double commit from NEU could have been a devastating play against them, but it looks like it's going to end in their favor. Shot Guy takes it up high. It is bonked into the corner by Frazier. Here's the setup. Where's that final punch? And it doesn't even go into goal. All that setup, but a game win regardless. So Northeastern, they still find themselves up 2-1 on the series. They are now 5 minutes, a hypothetical single goal away from going up 5-0 in the season.
James Madison certainly found themselves back into the series a little bit, you know, only dropping 2-1 after what, a 4-1 loss previously. So able to shut down Northeastern a little more, but they are struggling with breaking out. You know, that 1 goal was a counterattack with that demolition, and maybe that's something they can go back to. Semblance, we haven't even brought it up again today. We brought it up all the weeks before. Physicality. It worked out for the goal from James. It worked out for James Madison. Go back to it because it's going to open things up. It certainly did that time, and it got themselves the goal to at least get themselves back in the series.
Powder, I'm so glad you said it, because while you were talking, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, I can't believe we haven't said it yet today, but the physicality is so important, and I think you're so right that it worked for James Madison, and it worked well. It was such an easy consistency goal for them. It was such a consistent goal for them. It's one of the oldest plays in the book when you look at competitive Rocket League, but it's one that works like 7 or 8 out of 10 times. It is an insane consistency rate. That's why you see it through every rank in the game. You go for a demo on usually the person playing goalie, usually on the person in the back third. That just rips the goal wide open, and your team can capitalize off the back. I would love, love, love to see James Madison do that again, moving into Game 4, tie things up, and give us our second Game 5. I'd go berserk.
And you know, Northeastern wants to shut that down. If they keep playing the way that they are playing, feels like they'll get the win. Maybe they'll get a kickoff goal, and they will, off the back of the defender, and in 3 seconds into this game, already have 1-0.
3 seconds. I mean, Butler moment, am I right? Like, a 3-second goal comes through, just an insane dominance. There was one of those, in quotes, own goals, but like you couldn't do anything even if you didn't hit the ball, it was going in. So, not a complete own goal, but I mean, that's gotta hurt, Powder. You lose 2 games in a row, and then you are dunked on 3 seconds into the next game. It's gotta be tough on the mental here.
It certainly is, but you know, you have all this time to reset things, try to get a goal back in. Northeastern making it tough on them, looking for the double tap here. He slots it in. Frazier with a mechanical solo play, put Northeastern even more on top.
I think it's so funny that either 1 game or 2 games ago, I was like, wow, I feel like yellow is really the driving force in this team. And Frazier must have heard me and not liked that, because Frazier has been the only one to score since I said that. I cast her curse, cast her blessing, cast her whatever you want to call it. Frazier has brought a brand new dominance to this game that we have not seen from anybody so far. Yellow is doing good, but I'm going to say Frazier doing great right now. Just offense, defense, insanely well-rounded player. And let's get a little more evidence of that. Thank you, Frazier. A great defensive play coming out quick, going to be knocked off into the far right of JMU's goal. A great setup. Where's the follow-through? Nowhere in sight. Giving ball control completely in favor to Gad. It's a 2v1. Ability goes a little bit too high, but it's going to be the catch from another member of JMU that takes him away. Yellow with a bit of a setup shotgun, trying to play it slow shot. Guy, there it is. I knew I was going to do it at least once. Yellow now able to find their own opportunity to strike. This feels so game 1 to me. It's actually quite odd, but that's a new one. Skell putting a point on the board. A minute 4 off the clock. 2-1 in favor of Northeastern, but JMU has shown signs of life, notably faster than they did last game.
Especially off this one, too. The 1-2-3 punch there from James Madison. All 3 involved in the making of that goal. It's something that they can go back to try to get themselves 1 more to get this game tied up. Still plenty of time left on the clock as Yellow will look to stretch this one out. Shot Guy just chasing Demolitions. Gad out in the midfield, low to the ground, not what he wanted. Allows Frazier to keep offense going, chasing down that last man. Now trying to cut this off is Gad. He does. 1 left home, it's Frazier. Up over 1. It's Yellow looking to drop this down a little behind Shot Guy. Still makes it work for a shot. Overcommit though. Needs power on it. Can't get enough underneath it. Instead it's a stop from Yellow. It's Northeastern maybe not returning to offense, as that's actually a great offensive push up from James Madison.
3:15 on the clock, and now it's going to be a little bit of action. Skell takes it high, perhaps a bit too high, as nobody there from JMU was really able to react or catch the momentum off the back of it. Now forced into a defense. JMU is in a bit of a funky spot, because I could taste that one, Powder. I could see it just coming through. All the pieces were there. The stars aligned perfectly, and Shot Guy, perfect place, perfect timing. One of those goals where no defender's gonna be fast enough. The ball's already too close. It's essentially watching the fuse on the bomb kind of go down. But 3:03 on the clock. Northeastern 3 points on the board. JMU really getting their backs against the wall here.
They do give themselves an opportunity early after the kickoff. Gotta take advantage though. Skell into the midfield, but he loses control. Shot Guy faking it there. Ability behind 2. Doesn't choose to steal the corner boost, goes straight after the ball, but he can't even beat that one out. Yellow, the double in the midfield, put away by the defender. Net now up for ability to try to get to. Can't do it there. Nearing halftime now. Shots missing from James Madison, and it's Northeastern back on offense once more. Yellow tries to go underneath 1, can't quite do it. Ability needs to get this one out. He does. James Madison needs to get that goal quickly.
We've got to find something here quickly, Powder. I mean, whether it's a goal, whether it's just ball control, whether it's just a new kind of aggression we haven't seen from them yet, we are in the second half of what right now is going to be their last game tonight. We need to see a change in play style, increase the physicality, get a little bit more aerial, go for a boost drought if you have to. It's simple, but it's effective, and I would love to see them do something like that. 120 seconds remain. We need a change from JMU here.
It's just not happening yet as Northeastern holds that offense. No, or actually does have plenty of boost in the tank. He's able to win the challenge because of it. Now 1-up, takes the shot on, can't get it done. Back to the other side. Frazier cutting this one off right into the hands of Skill, but he gives it right away to Northeastern again. James Madison, they need to find this ball control. Otherwise, they are going to be stuck on defense constantly. With less than 90 seconds left, they need 2 to get this one even tied up to send it to overtime, to possibly send it to game 5.
Yeah, there's a big expectation from JMU right now if they want to keep this series alive. But as we get closer and closer, it's becoming more and more unrealistic. Ooh, a great catch from Ability there, but it's still not going to be enough to win them this series. 60 seconds left, or 65, so we're looking at about 32.5 seconds per goal. Again, just to tie things up. Now, 30 seconds ago, so the timer continuing to tick against them. And in these final minute of each game, where I start to talk about how JMU, in essence, is racing the clock more than they're racing Northeastern. And Frazier's going to disagree with me here, putting an extra point down on the board. But it truly does feel like, you know, could they win if there were 10 minutes on the clock? Maybe, but we'll never know because Rocket League is only a 5-minute game. That's one of the greatest things about it. It's how quick each game can be. But Northeastern right now, I think they've secured that mythical 5-0.
It's starting to look like it, you know, technically still time, but with the way that the previous 3 games have gone, looking more and more unlikely from James Madison, especially when Yellow smacks this one into the top right corner. 5-1, this one all but over as Northeastern made a great comeback, dropping game 1. Like we said, their first game loss of this season, and now a dominating win here in game 4, unless something can turn around absolutely immediately.
40 seconds remain, 1 goal per 10 seconds for the tie. Yeah, things are definitely looking rough for James Madison here. They definitely came out and gave it 110%, but that is the scariest thing about going against undefeated teams is they are not undefeated on accident. They are that good, and that's always the scariest thing about them. 21 seconds and counting. Northeastern University. They came in, they conquered, they left. They did a phenomenal job here tonight.
Final seconds, so keep looking for that offense. And for James Madison, this is a tough pill to swallow. When you know you're going against that final undefeated team next week, and now you just drop to 3-2. You're going to need to turn things around quickly, and if they're anything like Northeastern, it's going to be a tough ask to take them down after losing 1-3 in this series. So James Madison, a lot to go over in this replay over the next week or so before they go against Nichols College to try to keep themselves in that top 3 to at least get to the last chance qualifier.
Without a doubt. You know, I hate to say it, but I really do fear that I was right with my prediction earlier about how maybe James Madison overplayed their hand a little bit back in game 1. They came out, they ran the sprint instead of the marathon, and they revealed every trick and strategy they had. Northeastern absorbed all of that. They did exactly what I always ask these teams to do. Take what you learned in game 1 and execute it in games 2+. And Northeastern, they did not let James Madison get away with much of anything after that first game. They lost something to what we believe is their first game loss of the season, and they decided, hey, let's never do that again. And so far, they've lived up to that. They have won 3 games in a row, and I'm actually really excited to talk to Shot Guy because, I'm the unspoken third man, I think. We talked a lot about Yellow coming in quick, being very dominant. We talked about Frazier, coming in quick, being very dominant. But it was always Shot Guy with those clutch goals, with the setups, with the demos. And I can't wait to hear from that because that's kind of the glue to how those other star-studded players can make their magic happen. There's somebody in the back line setting up those opportunities.
Yeah, it really is fun to interview. I don't want to call him the third man, but at least in this series, I mean, he certainly was. We saw Yellow and Frazier both take over this series at different points, but it was always Shot Guy there, like you said, holding things together, being that glue, getting goals in himself. So it's not like he was just playing around his teammates. He was there, but the mechanical ability of Yellow and Frazier certainly were a little more visible to us. So it'll be interesting to hear what he has to say because Northeastern, coming into this one undefeated, dropping their first game, it'll be interesting to see how they feel as they head into next week.
I'm trying to think, as we move into this, so 5-0, possibility of 6-0. I mean, they're only 1 game away. All of a sudden, the mythical 5-0, something that many teams aspire but never achieve, has been achieved by Northeastern at this moment. They've got 1 more series. They can go for that untouched, undefeated play style, and I'd love to talk to Shot Guy a little bit about that. You all know the drill by now. We're just getting rid of the interview ready. Powder and I just get to hypothesize and talk a little bit about what we saw, and I want to go back to a point you made a moment ago, Powder, where we talked about you know, win or lose, these series have all so far today been great series to go back and VOD review and study. Even if you did win them, you still, every series has been close. Nobody's winning particularly in a dominant fashion. Butler won 3-0, but at the same time, a lot of those games were really close. So we're seeing kind of, as we get further and further, we're getting to the upper echelon of these players and these teams. The only way to get better is to keep practicing. The best way to practice is to play and to VOD review. So I would love to see both those teams, or all 6 we've seen tonight, including the other 2, all 8, continue to do that and continue to get better, because that is what this is all about.
And, you know, especially for James Madison, getting that game 1 victory. You usually don't review a victory, but it certainly could help them here to see what took down Northeastern in that game 1. We actually have Shot Guy in the interview booth now. We'll send it over to the interview. And, you know, Shot Guy, how you doing today? How you feeling after that match?
Yeah, we're feeling real good. That was definitely a close match. It was really fun. Really fast paced, but you know, we were able to do it. We're really happy about that win.
That's so funny. That's one of the first things we said as well. Like 30 seconds in, we were like, this is probably going to be faster than anything else we've seen tonight. Everybody just out the gate, immediate speed. So, Shotguy, I want to ask, you know, we saw a lot of your team kind of shifting the spotlight. You know, early it was Yellow, and then it was kind of into Frazier, and then toward the end there, you were really putting away those super important goals to secure that victory. So, do you guys play in the mindset of kind of letting someone be a front runner, or is it more an opportunistic play style where you're like, hey, if somebody's up there, just go for it?
Yeah, it's definitely more opportunistic. It's, you know, whoever's got the best opportunity on the ball, whoever's closest. We don't have any priority on who takes the shot. We all trust each other. We all know that we're all capable. So we play that style depending on who's there at the right time. Just go do it. We all know how to do what we need to do at the right time.
Yeah, and you know, heading into game number 2, because if I'm not mistaken, was game 1 you guys' first game loss of the season? I looked at the schedule, I think that was correct. At least for
might
Nays.
be. Not exactly sure, might be, but yeah, we were a little rattled. It was a tough
Yeah,
loss.
I was gonna say, yeah, how did you guys kind of regain from that? Because James Madison, that was a high-scoring affair, one of the highest we've seen this season, let alone tonight. So how did you guys kind of reset from the overtime loss to then completely dominate the rest of the series?
We definitely needed to regain. You know, we took a few seconds in the post-game lobby to be like, all right, guys, that game was a bit of a warm-up game. It was, you know, don't worry about it. Go into game 2, keep playing our style, because we knew what we needed to do. It was just a couple of mis-executions, unlucky save shots. It happens. And you know, as long as we cleaned up those mistakes, we felt good about going into the rest of the series.
Yeah, and for the remainder of the season, you guys go against Nichols College in a couple weeks now. The other undefeated team, at least up to this point, not sure how their matches have gone tonight. How are you guys feeling going into that? Because that really, at this point, seems like the match that is going to determine that #1 seed.
I'm really excited for that match. I think Nichols College is going to be a great matchup. Other undefeated school, as you said, so we're going to have to do a lot of prep, do a lot of review on this series to see what we can do even better against them. And we'll see what happens. It's going to be another fast one, that's for sure.
Oh, I hope so, and I'm hoping we get it on. I hope we get it on stream next week, because that's going to be a guaranteed banger series. But Shakai, just one more quick question for you before we let you go. Is there anybody you would like to give a shout out or a general thank you to, just while you're here with us?
Oh, I got to give a shout out to our coach, Flow State GG. He's, you know, he keeps our mental in check after that first game. Like I said, we were a little bit rattled. He gave us the pep talk we needed. He kept us hyped. He got us right back in it. And of course, my teammates. You know, I was feeling it after saving some unlucky things and not, you know, everything that went wrong. But they were great. They got us back in it. Shout out to them.
Absolutely. Well, hey, thank you so much for joining us. A huge congrats on another win, putting it in the win column, nothing in the loss column so far. And I truly am hoping we get to see that series next week as well. But if we don't, best of luck to you.
Thank you very much.
And with that, folks, we're going to throw it to another break. Technically, our final break of the night, I think. I don't know if that's actually true. But anyway, we're throwing to at least a break right now. We've got one more series. It's going to be our kind of in-state rivalry, I believe. Colorado School of Mines versus Colorado College. It'll be super interesting. You're definitely not going to want to miss it. Use this time. Get a snack. Get some water. Do whatever you got to do. But promise me you will come right back here for some more Nate Star League action in just a couple of minutes. Oh no, tonight is almost over, guys. I know that is like not something we want to hear right now. We've got one series left, but the coolest thing about Nice Star League is it's not all Rocket League all the time. That's just Mondays. One day of the week is Rocket League. And Wednesdays, Call of Duty and Valorant, the double whammy of the week. Two phenomenal games if you want to go check those out. And Thursday, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, one of my favorite games in the world. And Friday, an esport as old as time itself, Counter-Strike Global Offensive CSGO. Guaranteed bangers all throughout the week. Guys, if any of those games are half as interesting as we have had tonight, you are still going to have amazing series down the line. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back. I am Sepulence, still joined by Powder, and Powder, this is going to be one of our more interesting series of the night, but I feel for a slightly different reason. This is more of an interstate rivalry happening between two Colorado schools.
Yeah, so this one's a little bit different. So this is coming out of the West Conference in NACE, where they don't have as many teams, so they haven't played as many matches up to this point yet. So, I mean, you can see down there, CSM coming in 2-1 versus 1-2 for Colorado College. There's not as much to go off of. The main thing we can tell you, other than their rosters coming in with CSM, Haru, Vossinator, and World, and for Colorado College, Moses, and Slime to Lime, is that for CSM, they have a slightly tougher road ahead of them schedule-wise. So again, this is kind of a similar theme that we've gone through over tonight, is that as you get into the later stages of the season, you know, we're coming down on the final few weeks, you want to get this win tonight to make your life easier down the road.
Without a doubt. And like you mentioned, you know, we're seeing that kind of like, the West doesn't have as many schools, so the wins almost feel more important, if that makes any sense, and you really want to have that number stacked as high as possible. And folks, a fun fact for those watching, Powder and I are both 2 for 2 on our predictions. So we have gotten some good action happening so far. We've got a disagreement here below, or sorry, we're both 2 of 3, but we both have 2 wins is the point. And we have disagreed on who's going to win in this one. So if anyone cares about us, it's a fun little game we can play. I've definitely got Colorado College because I honestly, it's just such a dumb reason. I just saw the Tiger logo and I was like, oh, that's cool. I've never seen this school before, so I had to pick somebody. I picked the Tigers, and I don't know. It'd just be fun to see which one of us is more correct.
Well, mine's a little more analytical. I got to see CSM play in CCA Summer Series, and they didn't have the results they wanted, but I'm just going to go off the fact that they qualified for that. I got them taken here. It's mostly the same roster, so we'll see if aesthetic or if skill in Summer Series has anything to do with our decisions tonight.
I've lived my life one way, and that is in the chaos, and me picking my prediction off of an aesthetic just, I think, fits that really, really well. And I know that we're going to be jumping into Sovereign Heights is the map coming up, and as the map is brand new, we obviously don't have a little graphic for it yet, but we will eventually. So you guys get to look at our handsome faces for just a little bit longer. But Powder, I'm really excited because we've had 3 series here tonight, and I used this example already, but if this series is even half as good as what we've seen 3 times in a row already, I'm very, very eager to see the performances coming out tonight. And another thing is, I have never seen either of these teams, so I'm really excited to kind of get this new expectation. They've got those proverbial shoes to fill of making that kind of splash live on stream.
And I feel like it can be that exciting match. You know, not only are they fighting for positioning in the standings with, you know, Colorado College being in a very tough position, sitting in 5th place, so a little bit out of that 3rd seed that they need to get into. So maybe some more pressure on them. I know I keep saying that, but there is a lot of pressure on both of these teams coming in. And no pressure on you guys, but join the Super Page team for extra life. We love their support. Couldn't do it without them, so go join. We know they would appreciate it. And this gets us into game 1 now as Colorado College, a hot start with a shot, but a little bit wide. And now CSM will go back the other way themselves in front. Nobody there on either team. And instead, it's just up and around again for the School of Mines to try to get some more offense.
School of Mines trying to find some action early. It looks like a bit of a back and forth. I think we're seeing a pretty traditional game 1 right now where everybody's just kind of fighting for that established dominance. You want to put that first point down and then kind of really start to dissect your opponents, go with that Taskmaster strategy of figuring out what exactly they need or what exactly they are going to bring to the table and how you can exploit those weaknesses. An insane back and forth. School of Mines finding a little bit of action toward the goal of Colorado College, but still, I mean, nobody's really gotten that close yet.
Oh, just a little bit of back and forth from both of these teams. Not exactly sending everything, but they're not playing slow up to this point. Vossinator, that's not what he needs, though. It's off into the corner. Moses can't rotate around on it. Slime to Lime with no boost. We're still going to pass in the midfield. A late cutoff from World. Now it's Vossinator for the clear out. World left boostless. So it's Haru instead into the corner, up and around one more time. Bang this one out into midfield. Yeah for the cutoff into the hands of almost Vossinator. Moses there first. Again, these teams continue the back and forth. Neither of them getting many shots on just yet. Both of them have had some close opportunities, though.
Close opportunities indeed, and this is really starting to feel like it might be one of those low-scoring games, not due to a lack of skill, but due to a mirror of both teams so talented and so prepared coming into the series that nobody's going to give up a goal for free. Varsity takes it in quick off the top right corner. Yeah goes in quick, trying to find a little bit more action, but unfortunately falls at that wee bit short. World pass into Haru, into center field, into possible goal. The block from Moses, making sure nothing gets put on the board quite yet.
Continue this back and forth. Both teams, again, those opportunities, but not able to come through just yet. Yo winning that challenge, goes into the hands of Varsity, gives it out in the midfield, not where he needs it to be. A double tap from Slime to Lime. He actually fakes it. Good, smart play there, seeing World going up for it. Last of his boost to try to get this pass in the midfield. Another 1-1 coming in. Slime to Lime met evenly from the defender. Varsity with a full tank of boost. Around one, can't get around the second. And Colorado College are maintaining some offense here, but not able to come through at halftime, with School of Mines breaking out the other way, trying to set up an offense, but it doesn't happen for long.
Does not happen for long at all. I might be wrong here, Powder, and of course I don't even want to say it anymore. Now I'm a little embarrassed, but I was gonna say, I think this is the longest we've gone today without a goal on the board.
Very well could have been, you know, just over halftime in this game. It's finally in from World off of a play that I didn't really see coming. Just quickly pounces upon the ball, air dribble in. The School of Mines finds their first lead, and the first lead overall of this series. Colorado College needing to fight back, but it's World again. It's an open net. Yo racing in, almost over reaches for that ball. Able to get to it though. Yo after the midfield over to Slime to Lime. He needs this angle. It's actually a pass to the midfield. Shot on. World for the cutoff. Varsity looking for the counter attack. Slime to Lime will play it softly into the corner for Yo to take over. And the Tigers going back the other way, looking to tie this game.
Looking to tie the game at any given opportunity. Might be able to find some action here. We're down to 100 seconds, 1 point on the board. So confidently,
Oh, no.
I can state, I'm sure, that this is the lowest scoring game we've seen so far today. Already 3 minutes and 18 seconds off the clock. CSM, they are up by 2.
Yo, this is just an aggressive push up. Not sure if it was miscommunicated, but his teammate was coming up field, and instead, Yo tries to push up himself, gets caught up. Easy goal for School of Mines. 2-0 lead now. Maybe down to 1 if they can find this pass. What a clear out, though. Cannot be followed up. Maybe an opportunity for the Tigers. Pass off the back wall, takes one off the field. Shot is high. Need this rebound. The shot again high. But World, not a lot of boost, gets the stop, and Colorado College wasted a good opportunity. Need to go right back to it, though. Time still on the clock.
I've got to say, just so completely unrelated, it's so hysterical to hear my co-caster occasionally go, yeah. It makes me giggle every time. I don't know why, but I can't get over it. But Haru now going in for a little bit of action. It's going to be Moses coming in quick. Goes way too high off to the left, but maybe a follow-through. World gets in the way. No action from CC quite yet. Yeah brings in quick into goal off the corner. A great catch there. 2-1, 58 seconds left, and this is all of a sudden anybody's game.
And from Varsity, this is an interesting push up. You can see both of his teammates were front post. And with the way that they were falling off the back wall, he should have been able to see one of them to his right forward on the post as well. So interesting to push up. It goes in. And now Colorado College certainly has life here with time, plenty of time left on the clock. Haru looking to 50 his way through this. Demolition opening the net, but he gets around on it. Close call there. Colorado College, they're getting the stops necessary, but they need to find the offense, and no one is able to follow this one up. Boston are playing it slow, still gets the stop, but time is ticking down. 30 seconds left to get this one tied.
30 seconds on the clock remaining to get this one tied up. Like you said, Slime to Lime trying to find some action in the center. Varsity takes it in quick. It's stolen now by CC down. There could be a good follow-up there, but nobody's in sight. Varsity has the clear away. We are down to 15 seconds left on the clock, and things are looking good for CSM. Colorado College, they're down, but they are not out.
Oh, barely couldn't get that bump off. One coming in, no shot is on. No one was home. Moses gets it tied up late.
I'm flabbergasted. I mean, that's second time today we've seen something like this, Powder, where a team should have the winning goal, but then somebody comes in with mere seconds left on the clock, and then they can begin to sink some action back into the fray. 5 seconds remain, already ticking down. maybe we get another bonus goal, but something tells me we're more likely to go into overtime, unless Haru gives us one of the cleanest air dribble executions we've seen in a while. The ball hits the ground, overtime begins, and this is where the action starts. Once again, my friends, our second overtime of the evening, and I mean, such a reminiscent matchup of our previous series where it was game 1 that went into the overtime.
Both of these teams want this one badly. Again, this in-state rivalry, not only is the standings important here, but trying to get those bragging rights as well. World can't reach it. Haru will be there to follow, looking for the read is Haru, but he can't get it there. Now it's Haru, open net, off the corner now, racing in towards the other side, trying to follow this one up, trying to get a shot on, can't get it. And instead it's Ya towards the side wall now. Vosnator over towards the middle. Will look to follow this one up himself. Can't get the shot on. It's cut off. School of Mines, good offensive set early on. World barely getting around on that one. Colorado College might be able to set something up here.
Colorado College might have some action. We're already a minute into an overtime, and this might have some, might have some graces behind it. I was confident in the statement, but I got a little scared as the guy very close to the sidebar. That is Colorado College winning out a game that they spent the entire game in a deficit, Powder.
Yeah, they did. Not until the final 5 seconds did they get this one tied up, win it in overtime, and it's just another testament to how it doesn't matter how this game starts. You fight back, you can get the win. It doesn't matter if you held the lead for quite literally 0 seconds until you win the game. It's all about how you fight back, and that's what Colorado College did all game long. And for CSM, that's a heartbreaker. They got to take some time, just like Northeastern did in game 1. Maybe more expected to win this game. You got to reset now heading into game 2. Try to get yourselves back into it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you are coming out from the side of the Tigers, you're hoping that there's not a Northeastern situation, because that means you're about to get smoked. So they're hoping to see a little bit more of a change in this situation. And I've got to say, that was quite the change of pace from Colorado College. But like you said, Powder, at the end of the day, it's not about the score during the game. It's about the score at the end of the game. And that's when they found the junction when they needed it most. They put that final point on the board, and it gives them that game 1 win. They're a hypothetical 2 games away, 10 minutes for 2 goals from being the victors here tonight in a 3-0 fashion. We've only seen 1 3-0 tonight, so maybe we get a second, but something tells me Colorado School of Mines, they are not just going to roll over and take this. They are not going to go down without a fight.
No, it doesn't feel like it's going to be that easy. You know, Colorado College, it seems like they're a good enough team to be able to take down CSM in 3, but I don't think it's going to happen. I feel like CSM, you know, at this point, feels like they're taking their time here to kind of go over things as we're now getting into game number 2. Again, take that time, reset, regain. You held the lead for 4 minutes and 55 seconds, essentially, of that game. Now it's just about getting back to how things were early on in that game 1. Try to get yourselves the win here in game 2.
The action moving in quickly. Let's see who's able to follow through on the immediate turnaround. Will we get one of those 10 or 15 second goals, or is it going to be another slow burn series like we saw? We went 2 minutes and 40 seconds without a goal last time. Are we going to get a repeat of that, or are we instead going to see some more action, some more immediate aggression from either side? Because Powder, right now, honestly, I don't think I really saw either team take the aggressor position. I don't think anybody really played a full offense. It just felt like a lot more kind of, oh, we'll play offense when we have to, rather than we'll play offense like we're trying to.
And I gotta agree with that. Oh, close call here.
Wow.
Rebound. Easy enough for World. Just gotta get the placement, and he does. Another early lead for CSM here in game 2.
An early lead for CSM, a lead that they're definitely holding on to. Maybe they're going to be able to find a little bit of momentum and win this, force another game 4. That would be neat. 3 game 4s in a single night. That would really give us quite the evening to talk about, but as only a minute has been taken off the clock, not even yet, there's more than enough time for Colorado College to come through, put a point on the board, tie things up, and flip this series on its head like they did last time.
Certainly an opportunity. Ooh, Moses can't get around on that one. Does dump it into the corner, but goes into the hands of Haru. Towards the side off the corner, looking to follow it up again. It's World cutting it off. Trying to get it up to the midfield. Around on 2. No one home. Slime to Lime will knock it home and get the game tied up.
Getting the game tied up just like I totally predicted and totally knew was going to happen. A minute 10 off the clock. Colorado College, they've tied things up 1-1. That cool logo really coming in handy here, I'm sure. And it's going to be the action they needed to tie things up. They're up 1 in the series. They've tied the game. 1 more goal, and they can really put themselves in a surprisingly dominant position. As, like I mentioned, nobody in this, it feels like nobody in this series is really throwing punches, right? It just feels like a lot of catching.
It certainly does. Another close call here. Colorado College trying to get it. Tight angle on this one. It's a pass, though. Left side. Varsity cutting this one off. As Yo tries to play it up. Tries to keep the offense going. It's Moses. Really keep it going. Just a bit high. A pinch out. Haru has a one-on-one down the field. Powerfully off the corner. Right into the hands of Haru. Gives it back to Varsity, but didn't seem to expect it. A little bit awkward here as now CC will take over. Push it in one more time. Try to set up an offense and try to get this lead.
World gets a nasty catch in the center field there. Instead, it's knocked away by Slime to Lime. I thought there was going to be kind of a free goal for Colorado College, but instead they go for the corner, try to pinch off of that, and look for an opportunity to strike. Falling just a little bit short, 2 minutes off the clock and counting. Things are looking notably shaky on both sides, Powder. I just can't get over that feeling that nobody's really been able to catch a dominance here. It's all opportunistic. There's no proactive. It's all reactive.
Yeah, I gotta agree. It seems like neither team is really pressing the issue right now. I don't think it's out of panic or nervousness. It just feels like that this is how these teams play. And maybe that works out for them, but in this kind of series, you want to be that team that is more proactive. Now CSM looks to be going towards that as they try to give passes to one another. But either way, both teams just kind of, like you said, reacting to the play rather than going out and trying to make that play. It's kind of resulting in this stalemate that we've seen the past couple of minutes.
It truly has been a stalemate to the highest degree, and there's a very real possibility that we end up in another overtime situation here in Game 2, because even with 2 minutes left on the clock, I feel like nobody really would. Okay, come on, guys. Okay, so I was gonna say, now that I have to embarrass myself, I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised if we went these 2 minutes and nobody scored. But apparently Voss did not like that implication and decided, hey, now's a really cool time to score. But now, Powder, I'm gonna say it right now. Colorado College, they're going to go in, score within 15 seconds. They're going to tie things up immediately again.
We'll have to see. They have the offense. Varsity plays it powerfully out. It is into the hands of Ya. Goes up, looking for the double. Easily cut off by Haru. Now over to the corner, trying to knock this one back. Shot coming in, put away by Varsity. And I think we've reached that 15-second mark. But that was close. The offense, it was close, and they have a chance here to certainly get it within maybe 30. Maybe not. Sent out by CSM one more time. It's Haru to the air. So dangerous as always. Dribble down, power play off the back wall. World coming in, cut off by Ya. One-on-one down the field. Instead, he just gives it away. Yeah. It's Varsity taking over.
Varsity was taking over for just a moment, stolen back by Ya. The respawn onto Voss actually becomes a detriment here, as it's going to be the respawn in front of goal. All of a sudden, you've got all three players in the back third. Usually, that's when it's toughest to score. Haru with a very uncomfortable hit, but it actually is a phenomenal setup. Bounces off the crossbar. I believe that might have been Moses. Happened so quickly, I think I missed a moment. Haru able to get another great catch. Ya there to catch it. Oh, complete clash in center field. World tries to catch it. Moses quick. Ya picks it back up. Spinning up above Haru, though. I think you said it best, Powder. Haru with the most dominant aerial gameplay of the 6 on the field right now.
He has been, and it's allowed CSM to make the plays necessary, not even necessarily to score, but to keep possession in like this. And maybe this time it leads to a score. It doesn't. But again, all this time wasted for CC forces them to try to get this goal late as they're now looking for offense. Can't do it. Top right shot cut off by Ya. And Moses, with a little bit of space, pushes it past one. Varsity up to follow. Haru faking it out. 10 seconds left for CC to get back the other way. It's a fake from one. Slime to Line pushing it forward right into the hands of School of Mayans once more. Oh no, given an opportunity late. Still alive, still a chance. Ya beaten out, powerfully down.
No way.
Slime to Line. A shot on will make it a 3-1 victory for CSM.
Oh, say it with me, chat. Game 4, Game 4, Game 4. Because now, it's literally inevitable. Game 4 has to happen. CSM, I mean, Varsity with the true insult to injury goal there. CC, they had an opportunity. They may have cleared it all the way back down and around, gone in like a horseshoe formation, but no, that dream just absolutely smushed there.
Yeah, great turnaround there from CSM, and it felt like they were starting to get more proactive as that game went on. We were talking about it, and then it hadn't really made the change yet, but they're late, especially when Vossinator goes from the corner to get the goal in. It felt like that was the spark that they needed, and since then, it feels like they are trying to go out of their way to make plays happen, is resulting in a lot more pressure and a lot less pressure for the Tigers.
A lot less pressure for the Tigers, indeed. And we're going to get ready to jump into Game 3 in just a moment. Nobody has their back against the wall quite yet. We're kind of sitting in that current circumstance where you've got the one more game of wiggle room. It's kind of like we're in a reset. Now we're in a best of 3. You know, it's that weird situation where like losing the next game isn't the nail in the coffin as it would be in a lot of situations we've seen so far. So I don't want to say, you know, like don't go full throttle, because I absolutely think you need to be giving 110% right now. But you can still look at this game as that similar learning experience that you find in Game 1. It's about establishing the enemy team's strategies. Are they going to go for boost? Are they going to go for demos? Are they going to do, you know, what is their bread and butter, and how can we rip it apart?
And for CSM, I mean, with the turnaround that they have, it feels like they are going to continue that type of gameplay because it worked out well. You know, Colorado College had a few opportunities to make the comeback. It was a 3-1 victory, not until the final seconds, but it felt a little more dominating than the 2-1 that they had for the last part of that game. I think they were able to just hold the pressure more, made CC a little bit uncomfortable. Because of it, it felt like an all-around dominating victory. They can return to that. Again, I like their chances, not only in this game, but in the series. A challenge just a bit wide and Slime to Lime. Get it out to midfield, whirled back in again. And CSM, just this pressure offense. I'm liking what I'm seeing. If they can keep this up, they have a great opportunity here.
Yeah, and it's so funny because last game, you know, after Game 1, I was like, you know, CC is probably hoping this isn't another Northeastern situation. And I think you're totally right. I think CSM is mimicking Northeastern in quite a few ways. Coming into Game 2 with another extreme dominance, immediately coming through and finding just very showy, perhaps a little bit lucky, but still goals regardless. And now, just like Northeastern, they won Game 2, they're immediately up in Game 3.
This is all set up from the double commit. You could barely see it at the beginning of that replay. 2 go for it, and because of that, 2 are stuck at the front post. They're forced to race back for the shot instead of having to race forward, having a better opportunity, more angle to work with. Might tie it up quickly. Slime to Lime is cut off by the backline defense. But CC's own defense needs to be cleaned up a little bit because that double commit cost him dearly there. Now CSM is up early on as they look to go on to match point.
They are up early on, looking to go to match point, and there's a very real possibility that they're going to be able to do that. There's a million worlds, a million possibilities, and it looks like we're sitting in one where CSM can find themselves very much in the driver's seat. Haru with a great tap, kind of going for a reset here in favor of CSM, but it's going to be very sloppy. Slime to Lime takes it up and through past that center field mark. Yeah, goes to pick it up, gets demoed and absolutely removed from the equation. Vossinator gets a turnaround again. Slime to Lime, right place, right time. 3:33 on the clock, and things looking rough for CSM. There's the goal from who else but yeah. 3:28 on the clock. We are tied up 1-1 and also 1-1.
This goal simply does not happen if Moses doesn't get that slight touch to send it off the back wall. Without that, it's really just another pressure in front. Nothing will happen of it, but it'll be a little bit of pressure. That's all it would have been. But instead, it's a goal of the great play from Moses setting it up. Now tied up 1-1 over 90 seconds having gone by. Maybe 2-1. Moses getting to that. Now Yo will carry this one out, go underneath one, still with Harry. Aru getting the touch, but it's up favorable for Colorado College. Able to get the cut off, and now it's whirled quickly back the other way as he looks to set CSM back up.
2 minutes off the clock, which means there's 3 remaining. 1-1 still on the board. And last time we saw a game this close, it was forced into an overtime. Just barely won out by CC back in Game 1. CSM did walk away with that Game 2 victory, but right now, I mean, we're starting to see a little bit more of that shakiness between both teams. Nobody's really been able to establish kind of a team play. A lot of individual play styles have come to fruition, and Vossinator, I don't even understand how Voss didn't hit the ball there.
It looks like he just rotated right around it. You know, you try to get those angles, and they can be tough, and sometimes you might just whiff because you're trying too hard to be a little too precise. And it allows Colorado College back on offense, quickly back into the hands of School of Mines, and it's quickly a shot on Vossinator with a powerful one to the back of the net.
Voss with the fastest redemption arc I've ever seen. Whiffs one goal, immediately picks up and finds another. Slime to Lime, milliseconds away from being able to get there and bump the ball away. But, you know, Close is not going to cut it here. 2:18 remaining. CSM, they're up 2-1. If they win this one, Powder, like you said, they will be one game away from winning the series.
Oh, looking for three. No one home. A freebie, but he puts it off the corner.
Oh, man.
Haru can't get around on it either. I don't even necessarily think he was trying to get a little bit too fancy. He just couldn't find the angle, and now it's almost tied up. Close call there. CSM has to regain quickly.
I really feel like we've seen so many open goals, nobody home, and somehow nobody scores either. We've seen so many of those today, and you've got to wonder if there's just something in the servers today that is not allowing these free goals. Speaking of free goals, Haru is going to demonstrate for us now. If you folks don't know what a free goal is, there it is right there. Absolutely no defense in front of the goal. Haru takes it from center field, sets himself up for a double tap, and sinks it home to put CSM up 3-1 with 1:01 left on the clock.
Colorado College has got to calm down a little bit. That's 2 times now they've left their defensive net open. The second time they pay for it. Net is still open. One racing in now. Haru is able to take the challenge to keep it in. Bostonator cut off by Moses. Haru racing in quickly, gets the challenge, beats out another open backline again. This time Slime to Lime is able to get around on it, but Colorado College, this back line just so suspect lately.
Yeah, Slime to Lime really took a gamble there because they knocked that ball a foot to the right. That was going into goal. That was an own goal. A complete own goal. Not one in quotes this time. But luckily enough, it did bounce off the left side. Bostonator, nobody to catch that one. Don't even need the left side. Comes in from the left side and puts that 4th point down. Here's that 4-1 scoreline we've become pretty familiar with here tonight across several series. We've seen this exact scoreline. With 1:06 left on the clock, we would need a miracle play from Colorado College to clutch this one out.
Slime to Lime, you can see him pushing up on the back wall, but then he turns back, which makes the push-up completely pointless. He just needs to sit tight there and get the stop, and instead, 4-1 deficit. This one looking like it's going to be a dominating victory, where School of Mines might find another here. World will slot it through. If I'm Colorado College, you have to just reset completely after this one.
Yeah, you know, one of my favorite phrases, GG, go next, because things are looking rough here in Game 3, but that's what I was talking about before this game is, luckily enough, you were not down 2-0 at the start. You had a game under your belt. You let yourself live a little bit longer. Now you have to look at this game. What was making it so easy to score on us? And Powder, I think the answer is pretty clear. We've seen quite a few open goals. We've seen quite a few triple commits, one way or another, from Colorado College. Speaking of, that was a bit of an open goal itself from the side of CSM.
Yeah, Bostonator pushing up on this one. Power play off the corner. Haru.
I know Haru is there.
Yeah, a little bit interesting for him to go to the front post. I don't think he expected the challenge to come in. But, you know, Colorado College will take it. And in theory, they're not out of this one yet. Going to be very tough. So if anything, really just kind of bringing themselves back to give them a better shot in the future games. Because this one was all Colorado School of Mines until that last goal. The back line needs to be cleaned up from Colorado College because there were multiple goals there that were completely free, and even a couple that were missed when they were free.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at 1 per 3 seconds, I think. 3-point-something seconds from Colorado, which would be 2 kickoff goals in a row. Okay, all of a sudden a little bit more doable, but still very, very hard. It's going to be 9 seconds left on the clock. You need 2 goals, 1 point. 1 per 4.5 seconds. Which is just 2 kickoff goals in a row. I think CSM's got this game in the bag, but maybe Colorado just gives us the craziest clip of all time.
Yeah, with that one rolling along the ground, this one all but secured. A good turnaround from Colorado College. I liked the fight from them to get too late, but this one's still easily in the hands of School of Mines. This one a little bit high. And for Colorado College, again, you know, the offense is looking good, especially there at the end with the way that they were able to build it up again, even in the face of a defeat. But that back line, again, I hate to bring it up one more time, but there is something, I don't know if it's panic, I don't know if it's desperation, but the more they get that desperate, the more they find themselves down in the game. They have got to clean that up in between these games, otherwise CSM is going to go right back to it and walk away with a series victory.
No doubt, Powder. I mean, it may be desperation. It may be lack of communication. It could be so many things, but that goal just feels open way, way more than it should at this point in the series. So maybe they just go for that classic
kind of leaving somebody in the back third and not giving them any real wiggle room, like just keeping somebody as that goalie, so to speak, it could really be super helpful for Colorado College going into this. But now this is where your back is against the wall. This is where that fight or flight kicks in. Colorado School of Mines, they are 5 minutes away from walking away with our second 3-1 win of the night.
It's gonna be tough, you know, Colorado College, this, I hate to say it, but this is almost down to their season now. 1-2. You want to fight to get into that 3rd seed. It's really tough now if you drop this one because you go up against Boise State in the next couple of weeks, still sitting up top, still undefeated. I mean, we got to see them a couple weeks ago. This is a tough roster to face. So if you're Colorado College and you want that 3 seed, you need a turnaround quickly. You need some other things to happen too, but it all starts right here, turning things around. Of course, this Game 4 brought to you by Extra Life. Make sure to join the Super Team page today. We appreciate their support. We'd love it if you supported them as well. Getting into this Game 4, it's quickly back the other way for CSM. A demolition, maybe slowing down the offense. Actually not. A slight double commit still results in a clear for Colorado College. Now they look to get themselves back in this series.
15 seconds off the clock now. Nobody's putting a goal down yet. So we're in one of those classic slow game scenarios. But Varsity, I think that's in, Powder. Nope, just kidding. Slime to Lime has proved me wrong. World cannot get there in time. It is going to be a clear down from Colorado College, interrupted by who else but Haru. Immediate boost grab into center field, going up into that aerial where Haru loves to be. I feel like Haru's been in the air more than they've been on the ground in this series. But Varsity, they've been in the goal more than they've been anywhere else this series. So, I mean, that is just such a strong start from CSM.
Great start indeed. Just the speed too. No one's gonna catch up to that one when Boston is just racing after it. Colorado College, you know, that time not as picked apart by the offense, but still something they need to figure out how to shut down because CSM's confidence continues to build. And Haru to the air again. He's always so dangerous. Doesn't even need Boston to follow it up. It's Haru for the second goal in just a few seconds.
Haru with the second goal. Now, it's definitely not the nail in the coffin. That's the crazy thing about scoring early is there's still 4:14 on the clock. But if you take away the scores and you watch those 15 seconds of gameplay, if you're looking at momentum alone, you can tell that this is a scary situation for Colorado College. CSM, they come in. Game 1, very much not in their favor. Game 2, they're incredibly dominant. They repeat that in Game 3, and they're looking to rinse and repeat that in Game 4. And right now, it looks like they're actually doing better in Game 4 than they've done at all tonight.
Certainly are. Haru, oh, a beat there. Can he double this one home? What a play from Haru. The speed can't catch up to him.
That was really fascinating. I mean, what a clean sweep from Haru. They're 1 goal shy now of that overtime. Excuse me, of that hat trick. I don't know why I just said overtime, but of that hat trick.
Because we want the overtime.
Yeah, that's what I want. Sorry, my oh man, I can't think what I'm trying to say. My impulse kicked in. I was just like, I just want to see it overtime. That's all I want. But I mean, Haru really doing a phenomenal job here. Boston opened the door, and Haru just charged through it.
CSM just utterly dominating up to this point. Not even 90 seconds having gone by. 3 on the board. Haru has just been a maniac in the air up to this point. World trying to speed flip into this one will get the 4th home for CSM as they look ready to take this series.
And they're getting danger close, Powder. We're already 95 seconds off the clock. They're up 4-0. This is already shaping up to be our highest scoring game of the night.
Colorado College needs a quick turnaround, maybe a kickoff goal, maybe some physicality. They need anything to try to shut down CSM's offense and find anything for themselves. I don't think anybody has registered a shot just yet. Nope, we've cycled through everybody. Not a shot on the board for Colorado College with almost 2 minutes left. That one quickly cut off. It was an over-aggressive play again. World won't be able to shoot this, but he can get the pass back to Haru. He races in, open net, bang home, 5-0.
5-0 Haru. Just, I mean, I guess if there was a time to wake up, it's now. If there was a time to start sinking shots like this is all you spend your time doing, now is the time to do that. 5-0 on the board, 3 minutes remain, and CSM, they have already set a Herculean precedent for Colorado College to try and capitalize off of. This is tough, Powder. I don't want to say it's impossible, but statistically speaking, I don't remember the last time I saw a team win off a 5-point deficit.
You know, the closest we saw was actually, I want to say, week 1 and now it's to the point where it's really almost impossible. But remember week 1, we did see a team come back. They were down 5, scored 4 in about a minute and a half to get within 1.
That's true.
Complete the comeback. But now we are really reaching the impossibility. I mean, because of course it's possible to score 6 goals in 2 minutes 47 seconds, but it's not like CSM's just gonna lay down and let them do it. With the way that CSM has been playing, they look ready to put up 10 on the board. We've only reached halftime, and they have not slowed down yet. Colorado College this is a tough ask for them to even add a couple goals onto the board.
Adding even a couple goals onto the board would be a miracle at this point, because CSM hasn't even allowed Colorado College to touch the ball in 2.5 minutes. It has just been the CSM show for 6 points in a row. Haru in particular really playing that dominant force, the one we've been searching for the last 3 games, and Haru finally decides that those are his shoes to fill, but World will be the one to put number 7 down.
Yeah, and I'm about ready to call this one already. 7-0, just CSM has built up over the series. They dropped game 1 at overtime, and since then, they have slowly built up and continue to put their foot down in this series, and it's resulted in complete and utter domination. This is the first shot of the game, and it will be a goal for Colorado College to put themselves into a Brazil situation with 2:01 on the clock.
6 more in 2 minutes. 120 minutes. No, not 120 minutes. 120 seconds to score 6 times. It's not impossible, Powder, but it is tough. I'm not going to pretend it's going to be an easy thing to do, especially against a team that has woken up in the most pivotal moment of their season so far to secure such a dominant win in Game 4.
As Haru races down again, loses out a challenge. Again, we're just not seeing Colorado College get the necessary stops. Here we go again, a midfield pass over to World. 8-1 now, and no matter what happens, Colorado College just can't get it done.
Just cannot get it done here, unfortunately. It's just CSM. A dominance we haven't seen, I think, from any team today, just in terms of score itself. You know, the first 3 series I kept talking about, wow, it's been a while since we've seen one of those 6, 7, 8, 9 to zeros, and right now we're sitting at a 9-1 scoreline. Exactly 100 seconds left. We'd need 1 goal per 10 seconds here from Colorado College if they'd want to win this series.
Complete and utter domination from CSM. Still 140. Colorado College at this point, just look for anything to head into next week with. Maybe some goals to build up some momentum, build up some confidence, maybe some good stops on the back line to build it up as well. But unfortunately, this one will result in a loss. They'll find another goal here as a soft one rolls in from Ya. Just keep this one going. 11 goals between the 2 teams, and Colorado College, they're certainly not giving up at least.
They're not giving up. You know, you're in one of those situations where it's a definite loss, but I've got to say I really appreciate it, because there's a lot of ways they could handle a loss like this. You know, I've unfortunately seen teams go and, you know, rage quit or get really upset and kind of like leave the game early, and it's frustrating. So kind of sticking to that competitive integrity, I think, goes a really long way and speaks volumes about a team in a situation like this one.
It does. A testament to their character to continue the fight despite what CSM has put up so far. Another opportunity here as it's sent back by the Tigers. Ya takes one off the field. Another opportunity from that. Off the side wall, over towards the corner now. It is cut off. And Colorado College, again, have to go back to the drawing board if they want to find one here in the final 50 seconds. Peru will cut it off. It's passed out to Ya, gives it across the field. Nobody there. And for CSM, again, what a series it's been for them. Losing that game 1, turning things around, gaining more and more footing throughout the series. Now they will head into the final weeks with a complete and utterly dominating victory here. It's going to be tough, their final weeks. Remember, they do get a goal against Boise as well, but this will bring a lot of confidence to them.
A lot of confidence indeed. Oh, World trying to hit those double digits, but with only 16 seconds left on the clock, I don't think we're going to be seeing that double-digit goal quite yet. A lot of back and forth, a lot of hyper-aggression here in these final moments, but unfortunately, no matter how hard Colorado College kicks and screams, they're not going to be able to find 7 points in literally 1 second. So that will be a series win for CSM, Colorado School of Mines. And Powder, I've got to point out the pattern here. Second series in a row, we watch a team lose game 1 and then immediately win 3 in a row.
It's interesting to see because Colorado School of Mines didn't necessarily, well, neither team that did that, Northeastern or CSM, played bad in that game one. So it's just interesting to see them drop maybe a little bit of a slow start. You know, we talked to the player from Northeastern last time, said they just came out a little bit slow, and then they ended up using that as a warm-up game to then win the rest of the series. Maybe CSM did the exact same thing here because, I mean, if you needed a warm-up game, what a warm-up game it clearly was with the way that they played the rest of the series.
Absolutely. If that's what you need in a best of 5, take it. It's a best of 5. It's not a best of 3. Your back isn't against the wall losing the game. If you need something like that to warm up, I say go for it. And you've got to wonder as well, you know, I think the warming up answer is a much more like team protective answer, and you've got to wonder in reality, did it just kind of light a fire underneath them? Because nobody likes to lose, right? Especially if you were Northeastern, more so than CSM, because CSM has lost before, but to lose a game for the first time, that's going to light a fire like no one's ever seen before. That's a brand new feeling. That's a brand new anger in a situation like this. And not the bad kind of anger, the competitive kind, which is totally A-okay. And you've got to wonder if we see that same thing from CSM, where they lose game 1 and they're like, okay, like time to take the gloves off. It's time to get serious.
It really looks like it. It didn't feel like they were messing around by any means in game one, but they took that loss and then they really went for it in the remaining games and completely dominated Colorado College. I mean, what a win it was. Again, to head into the later stages of the season with a win like that, there's a lot of confidence for them heading into those final weeks.
Yeah, without a doubt. And I believe we're going to get to interview Varsity in just a moment here. I'm very excited to hear from them per the usual, especially after a team, you know, when a team wins in a 3-0, the interview tends to be a little less interesting because there's not as much to talk about. But when somebody loses one game and then immediately jumps in and dominates 3 in a row, those are the players you want to talk to. And I think we're going to get the chance to do that right now. We're going to jump over to the interview screen and be joined by our friend Varsity from the Colorado School of Mines. Varsity, can you hear us?
I can. How's it going?
Fantastic. I'm doing great. I mean, I assume you're doing quite well as well. Rough start. Yeah. You guys come through. You dominate 3 games in a row. So I want to ask that. I kind of want to hear what you, what happens to the team in that moment? You guys lose game 1. You've got, you know, a minute or 2 between games 1 and 2. What did comms sound like in that moment?
Well, we just knew coming into this that we were the better team. And then the first game when we lost, we were playing on our back foot, playing a little scared. And I was literally just like, we just need to ball chase a little more. Just stay on the ball, just be faster, outpace them, and then we just came in with a little more confidence, and then that slowly built up. And it worked.
And for you guys' play style, I felt like you guys were playing as a team, but also there were some solo plays as well. Is Haru kind of that guy? Just give him the ball and let him go, because we saw some absolutely insane plays from him tonight.
Yeah, I think it definitely depends on the day of who's feeling mechanical, and Haru was definitely popping today, but. Yeah, we have team plays when we need them, and then each player can pop off on the given day, depending. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, heading into the final weeks, this gives you guys an advantage heading in if you want to try to get that 3rd seed. However, you do go against Boise State, I think in next week or the week after. So, again, a tough opponent, currently undefeated. How are you guys feeling going into that, especially off of a dominating victory like tonight?
Pretty good. We scrim Boise all the time. We're pretty close to them in terms of just Rocket League, so we're pretty even with them, at least in scrims. So we think we have a good shot going into that, and we just gotta get the confidence up, and this definitely help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Varsity, quick question for you before we let you go: is there anybody you would like to give a shout out or just a thank you to while you're here with us?
Shout out to my teammates. Obviously, they're pulling through. I wasn't doing too hot today, and they were doing awesome. And then I got my family and some friends watching. I got my friend Sam watching, and my girlfriend's here watching, so shout out to them.
Awesome. Well, hey, Voss, a huge congrats on the win, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And with that, folks, as much as I hate to say it, all good things must come to an end, and that does bring Week 5 of NACE Star League to a close. So, of course, a huge shout out to all 8 teams for coming out tonight. We literally could not do this without the teams. That would be very, very weird. A big shout out to, you know, a lot of other folks as well. A big shout out to our production in the back line for getting every single replay I asked for. It was incredible. They nailed everything and making all the overlays happen, everything you guys have happen. And, of course, all of you for watching. Powder, thank you so much for joining me. And there's a couple folks I don't want to forget about, so I need you guys to bear with me as I look for my list that I had and then I lost. So give me 5 seconds here. I want to make sure I name everybody. Hold on. Oh shucks, I can't find it. But I'm not. Well, guys, you're hanging out with me till I get this. I can't leave without saying thanks to everybody. I'll never forgive myself. Oh man, I just cannot find it, folks. But I know off the top of my head, we've got to thank a couple of folks. We've got to thank Mavix. We've got to thank Extra Life. We've got to thank Dunkin' Donuts. We have to thank. I'm trying to think of them. I'm so sorry I can't think of them, guys. I had my list in front of me, and then I lost it. That's all I can think of off the top of my head, so I apologize. But I will get all those. I'll double thank everybody I didn't next week. How about that? There's the Sectulence guarantee. But after that clunky closer, I thank you all so much for joining us. Check your posture, drink some water, don't forget to love each other, and we will see you on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday of this week. Everybody enjoy the rest of your night, and we'll see you next time.